Sellout crowd on hand here in Washington to watch their team battle the Detroit Lions. It started to rain during the night. It has been raining all morning. The rain is expected to continue all day long. Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Glieber along with Dick Vermeil. Big injury problems for the Redskins. They're minus their leading rusher, the leading receiver, and their leading kick returner. Most notably, John Riggins in the hospital most of the week. He is suited up, but he is not expected to play. With Riggins, though, you never know. And that's not all.
Well, they're playing without Charlie Brown, their all-pro wide receiver, but Alvin Garrett has filled in the pass for them and done a real good job, and I think he'll do that today.
We saw the Lions earlier this year. The Lions had some problems. They lost 4 in a row. They've won their last 2. What's turned them around?
Well, first off, as Monty Clark told you and I, that they aren't that bad a football team. They've been turning the football over, and they've stopped doing that. They've started winning. They've regained some confidence, and maybe even more important, they now have Billy Sims in that backfield.
Eddie Murray of the Lions ready to kick off. Washington has won the toss of the coin and elected to receive. First, we've got grass here, prescription athletic turf here at RFK Stadium. Lions used to playing on the artificial turf. Redskins' old hand at playing in bad weather. In fact, you'll find that Joe Theismann is one of the best bad weather quarterbacks around. Back deep. Alvin Garrett, number 89, replacing Mike Nelms, who's out with the injury. Garrett, the Smurf, at the 5, 15, 20, 25, across the 30, and near the 35-yard line. So a fine return by Garrett, who is upset because he didn't have a chance to break it. This is the way the Redskins will line up. As you've got the great outside receiver, Charlie Brown, out with the injury. And the same thing goes with Riggins. So Washington will be at the running back position in the one-back offense. The Hogs in great shape physically as they come into this game. Don Warren starting at the tight end slot as Theismann, ranked number 3 in the NFL passing stats, calls the line down. Garrett to the left side, Monk to the right, and disdaining the bad weather, he opens up throwing the football. Incomplete, they say, as Garrett couldn't hold the ball in front of the Redskins bench immediately in front of us. So where the Redskins line up, they play the front 4, as does Washington. You look at English and you look at Gay, and you've got the top 2 sack artists in the NFL. Linebacking situation. Normal complement with Ken Fantetti, the leading tackler for the Lions, in the middle. And the Lions secondary, which has been intact for several games now, had an outstanding game against the Green Bay Packers 2 weeks ago, and they beat the Pack 38-14 and shut down that high-powered offense completely in the first half. The delay to Washington, dancing around. Little Joe is caught from behind. It was Gay who made the stop at the 36-yard line. A gain of 1, maybe 2 yards on the play. And Washington wants to prove today that he can run up the middle in addition to being a pass-catching specialist and a fine outside runner. Nick Giaquinto, number 30, who is another situation player for the Redskins, normally comes in a passing situation. Washington looking at a 3rd down and 9 with the ball at the 35-yard line of the Redskins here in the early going. Theismann sending Art Monk wide to the left side. He's got Garrett off to the right, Giaquinto in the slot. Theismann with the deep drop completes the pass to Washington at the 40. It'll be short of the first down as the hit made immediately by the Detroit Lions, Roosevelt Barnes, number 54. And a punting situation for the Washington Redskins. Their kicker is Jeff Hayes, second-year man from North Carolina, who beat out Mike Connell. And Kenneth Jenkins, number 31, relative newcomer to the Lions, and a young man that Monty Clark is very fond of, and who was a former Philadelphia Eagle.
He was with us a year as a free agent, but he broke his ankle, and he missed that year, but you could see that he had some ability. Now he's getting his opportunity.
He is a great competitor. Clark called Jenkins the best competitor he has had since Tommy Hart, who is the great lineman for the 49ers. Nice kick by Hayes. Jenkins fading back to his 15. Trying to stay on his feet. But he is torn down. Fine specialty team coverage by Stuart Anderson, number 58, who was the first man to get there, along with Greg Williams. So the Lions go to the attack, and this is the way Detroit looks offensively. Leonard Thompson and Mark Nichols, the wide receivers. Of course, the big thing is Sims. He came back last week against the Bears after missing 3 games. And it is not a coincidence that the Lions lost all 3 of those games. The offensive line, you got one change there, and Rich Springer, who's been playing the last couple of games for Keith Dorney, who is out with a back injury, but could see some action. Eric Hipple at the throttle. Lions moving from their 12-yard line. And they start trying to run the football. Sims had a big day against the Lions a couple of years ago, but was shut down in the playoff game last year, held to just 19 yards. Redskins front four. Bob Liebenstein, a new starter this year, although Matt Mendenhall, who he replaced, is now back in camp after walking out.
Boy, that linebacker stepped right up in there, Frank, that time and really tattooed him.
There's the linebacking crew. Rich Malott, according to Joe Gibbs, has been the outstanding linebacker so far. And a lot of changes in the Redskins secondary because, after all, they do have the worst pass defense in the NFL coming into this game. James Jones, the big rookie running back and #1 draft choice of the Lions, for short yardage out to the 16-yard line. Detroit looking at a 3rd and 7. Well, you look at the weather, which is inclement to say the least. I guess the Redskins are used to the bad weather, maybe more so in the Lions.
Well, Detroit gets to work out indoors, really, in their nice dome stadium and everything, and when it is bad weather. But I don't know if anybody has an advantage today. The Skins do play well in poor weather, though.
The man you saw on the cape on the sidelines, John Riggins. The injured Redskin running back from the shotgun. Hipple over the middle. It's almost picked off. Going for the interception was Ken Coffey, number 48. And he thought he had 6 points. So the big hand is for the Redskins defense as they lead the field.
You're going to see that Hipple did not see 48 coming inside out on, and had that man covered inside and outside, rather defensed. And he didn't see the inside defender, and it darn near cost him a touchdown.
The Lion punter is Mike Black. He's just a rookie, off to a great start from Arizona State, 7th-round draft choice. And returning punts will be Darrell Green, the Redskins' #1 draft pick. Now, he hasn't done this at all in the regular season. Great punt returner in college, and he returned one in preseason for 62 yards and a touchdown.
He averaged 20.6 yards a return in college, so you know he has the ability. It's a returnable ball, too, Frank.
Line drive type of kick, but the Lions coverage unit is down there rather quickly, and they'll cover it at the 43-yard line of the Washington Redskins. So each team has had the football once. No score with 11:41 left in the opening period. Washington, as a team, reacts very strongly to losing a football game. They usually come back with great streaks.
They've done it in the past, and they probably will do it again today. Of course, Detroit doesn't want to let them start with them.
They can't afford a loss. The Redskins, of course, neither can the Lions. Redskins' 2 losses have both been by a margin of 1 point against Dallas and then against Green Bay in an unbelievable game last week. 1st and 10, Washington from its 44. Joe Washington around the right side, crosses the 50, still on his feet. They say he went out of bounds near midfield. So bring it back to the 49-yard line of the Detroit Lions, and a pickup of 5, maybe 6 yards.
Don Warren, the tight end, number 85, got a real good block on Gary Cobb, number 53, that time, and enabled him to get around that corner.
It will be 2nd down. Let's call it 4. That will actually a short 4, closer to 3 yards needed for the 1st down for the Redskins at the line 49. Joe Theismann, Joe Gibbs was telling me yesterday, he's the best bad weather quarterback he has ever seen. He recalls coaching at USC as an assistant. And Theismann just ripped him apart when he was at Notre Dame. Washington over the middle for the 1st down. Takes it to the 44-yard line.
One of the toughest things they have with Joe Washington is to get him to keep running upfield. Many times he cuts back too soon and loses ground, and then he can't get back upfield. And that he does jitterbug around sometimes just a little too much.
He has been known to ad-lib occasionally.
Yes, one time they had him trapped in the backfield for about a 15-yard loss, and he threw a pass, and it was a running play.
That's a 1st down for the Redskins at the Lion 43-yard line. Redskins, the top scoring team in the National Football League. 3 receivers off to the right side. They still give it to Washington. Washington breaks a tackle at the 40 inside the 35 and slides to about the 32. And everything in order. That will be yet another 1st down for the Redskins.
You can see from the end zone the little counter step by Washington 25, and that froze Van Teddy, number 57, the linebacker, and then enabled the lineman to get out and block him and gave him that point of attack cleanly.
Joe is one of the few players who still wears the black shoes.
Yes, he does. Looks different out there. I don't know if they're black, but they're a silver.
They're really a silvery type, and I think what they are white shoes, and he paints them silver. On defense, the Redskins of Tony McGee. He does wear the old black high tops. Washington to the 29-yard line. There's Dexter Manley. What do you think of his hairstyle?
I asked him about that hairstyle yesterday, and he said he's going to keep it that way all the way to the Super Bowl.
Well, that's great if they make it to the Super Bowl. They say what he's going to do if they don't.
Really a fun guy to visit with. You know, he's not all hung up about it. He just thinks it would like to be a little bit different. And this makes him look different.
Alvin Hall on the stop on that last play. It is second down, 6 for the Redskins. Lights have been on since an hour or so before the game here at RFK Stadium. Even though the rain continues to pelt down. Straight down, steady rain. Heisman giving to Washington. To about the 25-yard line. We'll look at a third, a little less than 3 now for the first down. With the Redskins, of course, you see the single back alignment, and everybody seems to be changing to it this year. You think, well, maybe it's because Washington went to the Super Bowl with it last year, but they really weren't the first ones to use it.
No, actually, I think we saw a lot of one-back attack with the big fullback from Houston when Bum Phillips was there. And then San Diego, of course, when Joe Gibbs was there. And this is a little different type of one-back attack than San Diego used. Now everybody's using it.
Third down, let's call it 4, needed for the first down for the Redskins at the Lions' 27. Theismann looks over the field, over the middle to Giaquinto. Nick Giaquinto to the 17-yard line for the first down. Now, there is a classic example of a situation player who does his job so well.
No question. And he's been all around the league. This guy's been on 3 or 4 different football teams. Now watch him. He pauses right there. Now he's going to delay, coming right to the left of your screen. You'll see him come back inside. There he is, appearing back on your screen. Makes the catch in front of the zones. A delay-type pattern.
Clutch receiver William Graham made the stop for the Lions. A pickup of 10 yards in the play. And the Redskins are moving. They have a first down at the Lions' 17-yard line. 8 minutes, 10 seconds left in the opening period. No score. Garrett to the left side. Monk in the slot inside of him. At the bottom of your screen, Washington takes the handoff. Nothing inside. Gets back to the outside. Takes it inside the 15. Down to the 13-yard line where he's finally bounced out of bounds by Bobby Watkins, number 27, the left cornerback.
He can really do that. He starts up inside. He can't see anything, and all of a sudden he's outside running clean, and he almost broke that one.
Washington originally was a draft pick of Baltimore and went out to San Diego for a while.
No, other way around. Number 1 pick of the San Diego Chargers, then came to Baltimore in exchange for the fine running back Lydell Mitchell.
Of course, yes.
Played in the Pro Bowl in 1979.
Second down, 7. Redskins at the 13-yard line. Theismann, good protection. Monk, touchdown.
Unbelievable.
Fun bunch in the end zone as they put 6 on the scoreboard. Looked like Bobby Watkins, the defensive back, either slipped or went the other direction, and Monk really put a fake on him.
Right, he did. He actually almost shoved off him a little bit. Now we're going to get back here, drop him back. Now look at Theismann's looking to his left. Now he turns. He's looking to his right. He has a lot of time. Now Monk just sort of rolls off the defender. Maybe he shoved off him. Maybe he shoved off him.
Mosley with the extra point. With 7 minutes and 18 seconds left to play in the opening period, the Redskins lead the Lions 7-0. Mosley will kick off for the Washington Redskins. As you look at the Redskins scoring drive, 56 yards. Zip, zip, and went. Theismann with a 13-yarder to Monk to wrap it up. We said Mosley would kick it off for the Redskins, but I should remember that Jeff Hayes, who's the punter, does the kickoffs. Mosley just handles the field goals and the extra point attempt.
They feel that saves his leg for him.
Fumble by Alvin Hall, picked up by Jenkins. 10-15 after the 17-yard line. The normally sure-handed Alvin Hall, one of the best in the league at what he does in returning kicks. There's Art Monk. I watched him yesterday at the practice field. He's a lot bigger than I thought he would be. You know?
They list him at 280. He looks more like a 220-pound wide receiver. This sometimes what happens right there is the rain gets in your eyes. And you're no kidding, that happens. I've had many guys in that same situation tell me, hey, Coach, the water's getting in my eyes. It bothers my vision.
Sounds like a good excuse anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it always works.
What can you say, right?
I buy it.
First and 10, Lions at their 17. They trail 7-0 midway in the first period. Pitch to Sims. And we get our first penalty marker. Sims taking it across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Billy, of course, suffered that broken hand in a game we worked against the Atlanta Falcons. He's still playing with a pad on the hand. It affects his grip a little bit, but not badly.
He fumbled once last week, Frank, but they were able to recover the ball. But they don't feel it's a major problem. A little tough in receiving the ball.
Preliminary indication, holding against the Detroit Lions.
I think it was against their tight end on that toss sweep going off to the left. Sometimes they jump out there and grab that linebacker a little too obviously, and it gets called. Let's see. Well, it was.
Apparently the rain got our officials, Mike, too.
Yeah, it was on Ulysses Norris, number 80, the tight end. There's Joe. What a great guy to visit with. Didn't you have a nice time with him yesterday?
Yes. Very honest, very open.
Yeah.
What a job he's done here.
The best in the NFL.
First and 19 from the 8-yard line. Jones trying to get outside. Hit at the 15-yard line. A pickup of 6 yards on that play. Vernon Dean, number 32, the cornerback.
I really like this big guy, Frank. Every time we've seen him, he just looks super. He runs like a halfback, but he weighs 235 pounds.
It's an excellent draft choice, and you get him going strong, and you got Sims healthy, and you've got something back there. But they're going up against the #1 rushing team in the NFL.
But they haven't been in the field position that will really allow them to go to the passing attempt. But Jones is a leader, too. He was 2-year captain at the University of Florida, so you know he has more than just athletic ability.
Second down, 12. Lions at their own 16-yard line.
30-second clock.
Delay of game. Detroit. So that'll cost them 5 more. Monty a little unhappy because they don't get the plays off.
Delay of game, number 17, offense, second down.
There's Monty on the sidelines. A lot happier frame of mind yesterday than last time we saw him.
He was much better frame of mind. And I think he's really handled the adversity of losing real well, and that's why they're now winning.
Second and 16. Hipple back to the goal line. Trying to get out of the end zone and save the safety, and I think he just did manage to get back to the 1. A lot of pressure. Buckskin blowing in there. Barry Brooks was in there. Tony McGee, number 78, the 13-year veteran, also in there.
He gets back there. He initially has some time, but the coverage takes it away. You see Big Butts, number 65, powering in there, 300-pounder. He's taking on Stringer right there, number 71. Stringer hasn't blocked. Now, here comes the other defender right behind him, right there. See him, number 72? Dexter Manley. He's the fellow we saw with the Mohawk earlier.
Manley almost had a shot there at the safety, but he slipped out of his grasp. And now they're looking at 3rd down and 25 from the 1, and they run Jones out to the 2, maybe the 3-yard line. And the Lions will be punting from deep in their end zone. And listen to the hand for the Redskins defense as they leave the field. Fans love it. This is, of course, one of the noisiest places to play, as you well know.
No question. It's not only a noisy place to play, it's a tough place to play. I brought a football team in here 7 years in a row and only won one football game in this stadium.
Mike Black, you can see how close he is to the back of the end zone. So the Redskins should come out with excellent field position. They have Darrell Green stationed at the 45-yard line, and the Lions enter the field.
Mike Black is the second leading punter in the NFC right now, and a competitive type guy. I would expect him to get a good one off this point.
Will they go for the block here? They got 10 men up.
They've got 10 people up there. I wouldn't doubt it. Let's see if Black can handle the pressure. He does. He gets a nice one away.
Good kick under the circumstances. Green back at his 48, 50, 45. Green to the 40. He can fly. And he was that close to breaking it. Just the ankle tackle of Demetrius Johnson, number 21, the Lion rookie, probably saved the touchdown. It will be 1st and 10, Redskins at the Lions 35 when we come back right after this. Redskins Redskins, as you can see by that graphic, are murder here at RFK Stadium. They just don't lose. Of course, Dallas beat them this year, but they've won 7 of their last 8, 13 of their last 15. Have a first down at the line, 35. Theismann, the muff, slips a tackle. He's to the 20, down to the 16-yard line. First down. Art Monk. Season started late for him after he was hurt in preseason.
He comes across the field in motion. Now watch him turn upfield, and you can see the defensive corner at the top left of your screen. See Al Latimer right there? He's got to come in and really put the nail to him. He doesn't do it. And that shows how physical Art Monk is.
18-yard pickup on the play and a first down for the Redskins at the 16-yard line of the Detroit Lions. Washington leading 7-0. Walker in motion. Washington behind Walker's block hurdles a couple of tacklers and gets down to the 13. The little man becomes airborne. Well, the Redskins here in the first quarter have kind of turned this into a 50-yard field, haven't they?
They really have. The kicking game and the movement of the ball, they've been starting around that 50-yard line, and you don't have to go too far to score doing that, Frank.
Makes it easy. Washington so far carried 8 times for 37 yards. One thing about being the back in that one-back formation, you're going to get all the rushing yardage.
No question. If someone's going to run the football, it's your turn.
3 minutes, 15 seconds left in the opening period. Second down, 7 from the 13. Again, Walker, the tight end, in motion. Walker was the intended receiver at the 5-yard line. He was down there with one of the linebackers. Gary Cobb, number 53, was back defending. First score of the afternoon. The Bears leading Philadelphia 7-0. You expect the Eagles to come back today after what happened?
I really do. Marion Campbell's too good a football coach, and there are too many good football players there to play poorly 2 weeks in a row. They'll come back. You watch.
Our score, Redskins 7, Lions nothing, but the Redskins threatening again with a third down and 7 upcoming from the 13-yard line of Detroit. Giaquinto in motion. Theismann rolls right. He does it so well. Wants to come back left. He does to Giaquinto. 10, down to the 5. Giaquinto is bounced out of bounds at the 2. Hall, number 35, finally made the stop, but it's first and goal from the 2.
This is a delayed sprint out. Now see him drop straight back. Now he sprints out to his right. Now it's a throwback, a little sneak pattern. You see the lineman right here, Grimm, 68, coming out. See, look at Nick right there, number 30. Look at Quinto. Good paisano. Look at that. Strong guy. Love to see those kind of people succeed because they've been moved around the league.
First and goal to go. Theismann down to the goal line, touchdown. There's the indication as Reggie Evans, number 26, the short yardage back coming into the game, carries over the right side for the score. Evans, a first-year man from Richmond, and one of 20 free agents on this Washington team. You know, that is an incredible statistic to have 20 free agents.
That's a real salute to their personnel department, their general manager. Nice block by 86. See that? Now he's turning up there. Great blocks at the point of attack by Stark, number 74, and Mark May, number 73.
Mosley on for the extra point try. And Theismann, of course, is the holder. The kick is good. Mark was telling us yesterday that he feels that a straight-ahead kicker, and he's the last one now in the league, has an advantage on the wet field over the soccer-style kickers. Well, the Lions are down by 2 touchdowns. They can't really panic now and get out of their game plan, Kevin.
It'd be a mistake to say all of a sudden, hey, we're 14 down, we've got to start throwing the ball. I think they stay with their game plan, see if they can get a nice drive going, make it a 14-7 ball game, and then play it from there.
Well, they haven't had the good field position yet. Let's see what happens on this kickoff. Hayes getting ready to kick off for the Washington Redskins. 35 is Hall, and 31 Jenkins with the deep men. Will be Jenkins at the 8, 15, 20, running hard across the 25 out to the 27. One thing you may have noticed, Dick, when we were talking to Monty Clark yesterday, you talk about the Redskins specialty team, and they're known for their premier specialty teams. He immediately came up and said, hey, our stats are better than theirs.
Their stats, Detroit Lions stats, are better in all phases of the kicking game except the kickoff return team. So he's very proud of that, and he wants us to know that.
First and 10 for the Lions at their 27. They trail by 2 touchdowns. Jones trying to get over the left side, but nothing there. As we said, the Redskins have the #1 rush defense in the league, but they also have the 28th pass defense. So there's a negative to that stat. You figure, well, we don't need to run on this team because we can throw on them.
Well, what they do, too, is they say we can't run, so we have to throw. But running inside there against Butts, number 65, he's probably like blocking a brick wall, that guy is, and he's really tough to run inside on.
Could this be the day for Houston? We'll see. Gifford Nielsen with a touchdown pass to Stanley Edwards. But the Oilers on top in that game. Hippel over the middle, and not much on that play. They picked up short yardage as the pass was complete to Ulysses Norris, the tight end. Rather concerned, Monty Clark, 46 years of age.
He feels he has them going now, Frank. He really thinks they're starting to come into their own, and they're going to be a good football team from here on out and be a division championship caliber football team.
Well, they've got a test today. There was a penalty marker down on the play. And apparently it's going to be against the Lions. Now, the last drive, they were penalized twice.
Holding, number 67, offense, second down.
Talking to both coaches yesterday, both expressed concern about officiating in the league this year, which I thought was interesting that they both hit on that same thing.
You know, I've been in that same situation myself, and coaches are always concerned about it. But the officials are doing the best job they can possibly do. The game is maybe moving a little too fast for officials.
Second down, 19. Hippel under pressure back at the 5. Sims on the screen, bobbled it for a moment, then got the handle and took it back to the 24-yard line. Well, I know Joe Gibbs told us. Gibbs told us he'd like to see the instant replay from the press box. An official up there. You like that concept?
I think it'll be beneficial. You're going to see a defensive lineman here to the right side of your screen. He's rushing up. See number 72 right there to the right of your screen. Now watch him get out there in that screen pass and make the play. He's going to run down Sims, who's a great sprinter. Look at him do that. That's a heck of a physical effort by a defensive lineman.
And 72, of course, is Dexter Manley.
We've talked about him 3 times already.
We have. He's all over the place. Third down, 14 from the shotgun. Hippel looking downfield, wants to go long, intended for Thompson. And Leonard Thompson couldn't hold it at the 45. Good pass defense that time by the Washington Redskins, whose secondary has to be a little shell-shocked after what happened to him against Green Bay the other night.
Now you're going to see he's going to come down and go underneath the wide defender up at the top of the screen. See him go inside there. Now he's going to come back and try to run a corner. And Carpenter, number 41, does a good job going for the ball at its highest point so he can defense it. Very well done.
Carpenter, young player who started as a draft choice with Dallas last year and then went on to the New York Giants. So again, bunting situation for the Lions. Black standing back on his 10. We've got 1:25 left in the opening period. And Farrell Green will return the last one. 18 yards is deep for the Redskins at his 35. Look at all that pointing going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I smell wood burning up here. There's some problems.
Pretty good rush that time, but a good kick.
Punt.
Fine kick. Fumble by Green. Tries to find it, and I believe the Redskins have recovered at the 29. Let's see. Well, the Lions indicating they've got it. Yes, they say Detroit recovered.
He stole it.
That had to be taken out at the bottom of the pile.
He stole it. He really did. He did a heck of a job. That guy's a thief. Mike Kofer. He crawled underneath that pile and got it. I mean, you can see he's going for the ball. Doesn't get it tucked away right there. It slips right through his hands. Comes in, he strips him. He doesn't let him get to the football. Now it appears the Redskins have it, but it sneaks out the back. See that? You have to be alert.
And Kofer just got himself a gift. It rolled out right to him. And the Lions, for the first time this afternoon, are in Redskin territory. Let's see if they can capitalize. They're on the Washington 30. Jones over the left side to about the 27, and he's shoved back. Fine kick by Black, by the way. 47-yard punt.
It hung in the air 4.2 seconds, so that was a nice punt.
Second down coming up, and 7. No score. Cleveland, Cincinnati. That is now in the second period at Cincinnati. Second meeting of the year between those two clubs.
You know, your offensive lineman can develop a headache blocking those big Redskins in the running game.
And it lasts for a couple of days.
Yeah, it does.
Second down, 8 from the 28. Monty Clark indicated he was going to go with a double tight end setup for part of the day, and that's what he's got right now. And it hasn't worked too well up until this point. He's got Norris in there and also Reese McCall, number 81. Murphy made the stop.
It's tough to run inside on these people, and the trouble is you end up with that 3rd and long, and they're very good in the nickel defense on 3rd and long.
Washington's defense doing an outstanding job. Dorsett got over 100 out of him in the first game this year. That's most unusual. Normally a team does not gain 100 yards rushing. There's the gun indicating the first period has ended here at RFK Stadium. Washington leads it 14-0. Frank Glieber along with Dick Vermeil. We hope it's dry where you are, because it sure isn't here at RFK Stadium. Been raining all day. 3rd down, 8 as we start the second period. Lions from the Redskins 27. Hipple under pressure is sacked back at the 37-yard line. What a big play for the Redskins defense.
All 4 people put pressure on him there. No one single man's going to get credit for that sack.
Everybody was there. Butts was there, 65. Saw
it's hard to
69.
find. See, they ran a stunt right inside. Here comes Butts, number 65. He got cut, but the defensive end's coming around the outside. Tony McGee, number 78. And Dexter Manley, 72, got around there. But it was a 4-man sack, not an individual sack.
And that, of course, drives Detroit out of field goal range, and Hipple comes up hobbling. He's been trouble with a bad ankle, and there's the indication that they want Gary Danielson to start warming up. Looks like Hipple working his left shoulder there.
See, that sack also cost him a possible field goal attempt.
Put him out of field goal range, and now Black has to do the punting. Seems to be some confusion on the part of the Lions specialty team.
I think he might have done that on purpose. The 5-yard penalty will move it back. It'll give him a better percentage opportunity.
Delay of game, number 11, offense, penalty declined, 4th down.
There's the old chess game, huh?
See, yeah, they wanted a little more room to punt that ball down inside that 5-yard line with a little bit easier angle with it moved back, but the Redskins smartly refused the penalty.
Saw Hipple over there talking to Ted Marchibroda, the offensive coordinator. Hipple has had some injury problems, and Gary Danielson has come on to relieve him in 4 of the club's first 7 games this year. Black, low snap, looking for the far side corner. Trying to get it out of bounds, but doesn't do a very good job of it. That goes into the end zone for the touchback. It'll come out to the 20, and the Redskins will take over 1st and 10 as Gary Danielson begins to loosen up for the Lions.
We have an update out of Green Bay. The Minnesota Vikings are on the board. Steve Dills, 13 yards to Sammy White. Frank, it is not raining nearly as hard in Green Bay as it is in Washington. Back to you and Dick.
The Packers didn't use up all their points the other night as they fall behind the Vikings 7-0 in that game. Our game stands 14-0. Redskins over the Lions. 14-16 left to play in the first half. You saw Danielson walk up on the sidelines. He's ready to come in. The word is that Hipple may have a shoulder problem. 1st and 10. Redskins from their 20 following the touchback. Joe Washington on the sweep. Out of bounds at the 22. Redskins signal their plays in from the bench, the 2 gentlemen in the yellow hats.
They do it. One man is live. The other guy sends a false signal. Now you can see the man on the right of the head coach, Joe Gibbs. See him giving those signals? Look at that. Swirling the arm around. I mean, you can't believe the number of signals you can dream up as a coach to send in an offensive play.
And, of course, Gibbs is on the phone upstairs to Jerry Rome, who is his quarterback coach.
Right.
Other scores from around the league. It's been a low-scoring weekend. Last weekend, they set the new record for most points scored in a weekend by NFL clubs. 2nd down 8. Theismann, flag down. Ball is jarred loose from Warren. They call it incomplete. And let's see what the penalty marker is all about. You know, with Hipple getting hurt, makes you wonder if Theismann ever got hurt. Now, here is one man totally... I mean, he is totally indispensable to this ball club.
He really is. And in watching him practice Friday, you know, he's the only quarterback on the field that takes a snap within the Redskin offense. And that's a little shaky, but they feel that he needs all the work to be totally prepared. And if he goes down, the second guy has to just jump in and get it done.
Holding, number 59, defense, automatic 1st down.
So the Lions get flagged again. That's the 4th time they've been penalized now for a total of 30 yards. And the Redskins have been unscathed. It'll be a 1st down with the ball at the 28-yard line. make it the 5th time. Single back is Washington. Theismann with the fake for Washington. Gets the pass away long. Pass interference. Monk was the intended receiver. Graham was down there defending. And along with him, Albert Latimer.
I can't tell you who the pass interference penalty's on.
Looked like William Graham, number 33, the line defensive back, who is step by step with Art Monk.
The field judge, Bill Stanley, number 91, threw the flag.
Graham obviously not very pleased. Let's see what they do here.
There is no foul. The pass could not be caught.
Good call. Good call. Let's see if we can see that. Now you see the double coverage on him. He's covered short, then released into the zone. Now he's running with him right here. Shoulder to shoulder. A little contact right there, but both players making contact. But the ball was not catchable. No foul either way.
So bring it back to the original line of scrimmage, which was the 27-yard line, and William Graham a lot happier on that call. Redskins 2nd and 10 from their 27. They lead 14-0. A lot of movement, which is the Washington trademark, of course. Under Joe Gibbs, the tight end Rick Walker in motion. Theismann caught before he could release it this time and pinned back at the 22-yard line for a loss of 5 yards on the play. So good rush that time by the Detroit Lions.
You're going to see here that Joe Jacoby, number 66, is beaten. On the right of your screen, going to come around. See Bill Gay come around there? He's the leading sacker in the NFC right now.
He's got one more.
He beat him around to the outside. He has one more, making it 10.5 sacks for the year. William Gay, tight end from USC.
He got off a great start, of course, this year with 5.5 sacks in the opening game against Tampa Bay. 3rd down, 16. Theismann goes over the middle to Giaquinto. He got the 6 or so that they lost in the sack, but that's about it, as Graham, number 33, came up from the secondary to make the stop. There's the picture on the Detroit sidelines. That's the punter, of course, Black, trying to keep that.
I've never seen that before. He's smart. You know, he used to be a quarterback at Glendale High School in California, so she's smart.
It's no dummy. His mom didn't raise a dummy.
No.
What day you keep your foot warm, if that's what makes you a living for you.
Yeah.
Here's Hayes in to do the punting. 3 men deep. And the center man is Jenkins, number 31. Ken Jenkins at the 35 runs into his own man, looking for some place to go. Breaks it. 40, 45, 50, 40. The punter trying to run him down and slows him down just enough. Does Hayes to save the touchdown, and we got a flag. We may have a face mask. Out of bounds at about the 25. Boy, he looked like he was jammed back there, and somehow he got through that mass of players up the middle. We got a marker down.
He takes this thing. He starts up. Now see him tuck that ball away nicely. Now he's looking for a block. He starts to his right, runs into his own players. Now he gets the defense's all conversion. He sneaks right through. Look at this. Sneaks right through there. There he goes. They overran him. That's what happened. The coverage overran him.
Grabbing the face mask, number 5 on the passing team. First down.
So Hayes, the punter, grabs the face mask but saves the touchdown in doing so.
Well, he's not used to making tackles.
Absolutely not. There's Hayes. 1st and 10 Lions at the 20, make it the 19-yard line. Hipple intended for Norris, the tight end who can't hold it. Well, Hipple, despite the injury problem he went off with, comes right back in and tries to just lob that thing up there. And we got one of the Redskins injured on the play. Was Coffey. Number 48, Ken Coffey, the strong safety, who was shaken up.
He's starting his first game for the Skins. He's been playing in the nickel, but not as a starter. Here you can see both of them go up. That's a big man, Ulysses Norris, going up for that football. Coffey did a great job. He comes down. Looks like he jammed his right leg or ankle down into the turf.
Norris is 6'4", going way up for that one over Coffey, who is 6 feet. 2nd and 10 from the 19. Lions need to put something on the board here. Again for Norris. Coffey got his hand on it this time, but couldn't hold it. He was well covered. Had a linebacker back there with him, along with Norris.
Ken Coffey. Defensive captain from Southwest Texas State. He's been around a while. He had 2 pass interceptions already this year, so we know he can play pass defense, but he's getting his chance to start his first game.
Second period, the Jets lead Atlanta by a score of 7-0. That's also being played in the rain. Cincinnati over Cleveland, 7-0 in the second quarter. 3rd and 10. Lions have not had a first down in this game.
Pretty obvious from watching it up here.
Pickle trying to keep it going.
Pass interference.
Intended for Nichols. There is no flag. Vernon Dean, number 32, defending on Mark Nichols. And the Lions simply cannot move the football against the Washington Redskins. They are within field goal range.
There's running a square in pattern here. He has good protection. You see that? He has an extra man, that Steve Mott, 52, cleaning up for him inside. It looked like there was contact made early, but the ball again was not catchable. Therefore, probably no flag for that reason.
Kenny Murray, of course, one of the best in the NFL. He has led or tied for the NFC scoring lead 2 of the last 3 years and has had a good year so far. This attempt will be from 37 yards away. Long enough and good. So Murray connects, and Detroit gets 3 out of it. 12:06 left to play in the first half. 14-3, Redskins. The rain continues to fall here at RFK Stadium. Falling a little harder on Detroit right now. With the Lions behind 14-3, and Eddie Murray getting ready to kick off. Scoring drive by the Detroit Lions turned out to be a relatively short drive. Took them just 4 plays to get home in a minute and 22 seconds. And of course, the 37-yard field goal taken by Evans, who fumbles it, can't find it at the 5. Reggie Evans is across the 10 and down at the 11. For the first time, the Redskins will be starting with less than desirable field position. August Curley making the stop for the Lions. Coming up next Saturday on CBS, big one in the Big Ten. Michigan and Illinois. That could determine the Big Ten champion in the Rose Bowl round.
It could, and that was a great football game last year. Mike White at Illinois, those fighting Illini almost won the football game in the 4th quarter, trying to score on the 4th down play.
Both teams are 6-1. They are 5-0 in conference play, and you'll be able to see that showdown. Nice to see someone beside Michigan and Ohio State.
It is, especially if it's Illinois with Mike White there.
Unless you're a Michigan or Ohio State fan, of course. 1st and 10. Redskins from their 11. Theismann hands off to Washington. That's outside. Cuts back to the 15. You know, I wonder about him being airborne. As you notice how he does that little thing? They could break him in 2.
Yeah, I know it. He has been injury prone. That's why San Diego Chargers traded him. They thought they had a large investment in this guy in terms of money and draft choice, but he was always hurt. So they traded him to Baltimore, and he hasn't been hurt that much since.
Well, he's had 2 knee operations in this last off season.
Yes,
that he's come back from.
But he played last year, and he hasn't missed a game this year.
In his 7th year in the NFL, his 3rd year with the Washington Redskins, and filling in for John Riggins, who has not seen action today and not expected to see action. 2nd down, 2. Redskins at their 20. Garrett is in motion. Washington trying to pick up the first down, and will be close at the 22-yard line. Of course, he's got a few horses to run behind, doesn't he?
Yes, they do a great job of that drive blocking, and they really put that offensive line together, thinking about big people, base blocking, coming off man-to-man, and knocking guys off the line of scrimmage.
Penalty marker is down. Doug English made the stop, and it's going to be against the Redskins. First time they've been penalized. Holding. See, give the offensive line a compliment. What do? Hold on the next play.
Went to their heads.
So that will cost them 10 yards.
That offensive line have great inter-squad morale, that group right there. I watched them on that practice field Friday and then again yesterday. They have a lot of their own little things going on in the practice field that makes the hard work fun.
Jerry Markbright, the referee, will give you the call on the culprit.
Holding number 80, offense, Second down.
See, it wasn't the offensive line after all, this thing.
Virgil C.
was a wide receiver.
Little wide receiver behind the cheek.
For
Blame it on the Hawks.
89.
Oh, he changed. They're still wide receiver. Garrett, 89. There's a total offense situation. Detroit yet to pick up a first down. Second down, 12. Theismann trying to get the first for it. A little bit short of the mark that time as the pass is completed to Garrett, number 89, and the hit over on the far side by Alvin Hall. Garrett, remember, caught 3 touchdown passes against the Lions in the playoff game last year, and he was just filling in for Monk, who was hurt the day before. Minnesota beating Green Bay 10-0 in the second period of that game. 44-yard field goal by Benny Ricardo. 10-yard pickup on that last play leaves the Redskins with a 3rd and 2 upcoming at their 20. Just over 10 minutes left in the first half. Walker in motion. Washington follows it. Cuts back inside. Has the first down after the 27, 28-yard line.
The key to that play was the block by George Stock, number 74, on Curtis Green. Don Warren got the linebacker stretched, and he gave him room to turn up inside the tight end's block rather than go outside. Watch, see the tight end, number 85, right to the right of your screen. He turned up underneath that. He stretched that linebacker out, and it gave him room to go back underneath.
Washington had a big night against the Redskins at 80 yards rushing and 9 receptions. Riggins was shaken up in the second half of that game. It's their number 2 rusher and their number 2 receiver. 1st and 10, Redskins at their 27-yard line. Theismann out to Garrett. Little hit screen. Garrett looking for some running room. Yard maybe 2 on the play as the Lions covered it well.
The defensive lineman did a great job of hustling out there and making the play down the line of scrimmage. They could have blocked the perimeter people, the defensive back, with that one man they had out there, but those defensive linemen got there awfully fast.
You know, play after play for the Redskins, you see Rick Walker, number 88, going in motion. And he, of course, is a tight end, but really the way they play this offense, it's almost like an offensive lineman that is moves and is an eligible receiver.
He's a combination tight end guard, really. And he blocks at every position.
Second down, 8 from the 29-yard line. Washington. It was Watkins that got to him as he crossed the 30-yard line, and Watkins put the hit on him, stopped him at the 31. It'll be 3rd and long.
Art Monk missed a critical block right there that prevented Joe from Washington from jumping outside. If Monk would have gone ahead and gotten his block like he would catch a ball as a receiver, the guy would have been out there running clean.
Victory by the Packers the other night over the Redskins broke a 5-game win streak and also a 9-game road win streak for the Redskins, which is just a couple off the NFL record of 11.
When you win the World's Championship, you win on the road and at home. Doesn't matter where you play.
3rd down, 6. Redskins from their 31. William Gay just trotted into the backfield. At that point, I guess he figured it's too far gone now, right?
I'm here too late. Better try to go back.
Unless he felt he was drawn off.
Encroachment, defense.
Now it's against the defense, so instead of 3rd and 6, now they're looking at 3rd and 1.
Yeah, that's more than encroachment, isn't it? I thought he was going to go over there and talk to Theismann. Might ask what he was going to do.
Encroachment, number 79, defense, 3rd down.
Cleveland, Cincinnati, 7-7 in the second period. Sipe with a touchdown pass to Ozzie Newsom to tie it up.
William Gay probably thought he was a tight end that time. You know, he caught 26 passes at USC as a tight end.
That's right. Came into the league as a tight end with Denver.
And he's going to switch into going offense.
Redskins 14, Lions 3. 8 minutes left in the first half. 3rd and 1. Redskins from their 36. Double back set up this time, and Reggie Evans trying to pick up the first down. I don't believe he made it.
Didn't make it.
No, sir. Good defense by the right side of the Lions line. Look at Gay. Is he pumped up? He's slapping everybody on the backside.
You could tell that yesterday at the hotel when we visited with him. He was fired up and really excited about playing today. Winning does a lot for squad morale and team confidence, and they came into this ball game really believing they could beat the Skins, and so far they haven't proved it.
4th down and less than a yard needed for the first down. Let's see if they want to measure first. Redskins have called for a measurement to see how close it is. They have sent their punting unit in.
I think he'll go ahead and punt it anyway. You're in command of the football game, 14-3. No sense in fooling around.
That looks like a good yard or so. So it'll be 4th and 1. Redskins defense has held the Lions without a single first down here in the first half, which is 7:55 to go.
I think he called for the measurement just to find out if it was an inches to go situation. Maybe he would then consider going for it.
Jeff Hayes to do the punting. 3 men deep for the Lions, and the center man is Jenkins, who broke the big one that set up the field goal a few moments ago. Good snap from Bostic, one of the best in the league. Here's a flying kick. Beautiful hang time. Jenkins back at the 12. Up to the 15. Tries to break out of this one. Takes it across the 20 to the 22. That's almost 5 seconds of hang time. That's very impressive, to say the least. 1st and 10. Lions at their 22 when we come back right after this. Coming up, the Spurs, the Rockets, Ralph Sampson. Watch out for the Rockets this year. In addition to Sampson, they got Robert Reed coming back, an excellent player, and they could be the comeback team in the NBA this year. And of course, that game also marks the introduction of our new NBA analyst, Tom Heinsohn, the former player and coach with the Boston Celtics. So join us next Saturday right here on CBS. 1st and 10, Lions from their 22-yard line. Hipple back to throw it. Manley is after him. Got a hold of his jersey. Completes the pass to Sims. And Sims takes it across the 30 near the first down marker at the 31-yard line. If indeed it is a first down, it will be the Lions' first of the game. Grant, 77, finally made the stop on Sims.
He's going to make a little token fake right here to Sims. See this? Now Sims is going to go in there and check down and sneak. See, all the coverage is buzzing away from him, looking for the other deeper people. And there he is all alone. He was lucky to get that off because the pass rush really was good.
Manley again in there quickly. Close enough to measure here. See if the Lions finally get that first down. They're going to have to wait another down, looks like. Just a little bit short. You see Manley coming in there. You knew that the Redskins had something. When he was a rookie, they lined him up as the outside guy on their punt coverage.
Right. They're doing the same thing with number 71, Charles Mann, the rookie defensive lineman right now. Those guys can run.
That's impressive when you see a defensive or offensive lineman lined up as the outside guy, where you normally have your sprinters. Kansas City and Houston locked up at 7. Bill Kenny with another touchdown pass. He had 4 last week against the Giants. Sims really belted at the line of scrimmage. Oh, there was nothing there for him. That'll make you see stars a little.
It is really tough to cut back into that big Dave Butts, number 65. He is almost impossible for the normal offensive guard to block him. It is really tough, and you're really asking for a headache.
And Sims was limping ever so slightly and now leaves the field.
Just probably wants to straighten out his helmet.
It's hard looking through that ear hole.
Right. It takes a physical big man to block Dave Butts in those situations.
3rd down, 1. Lions still looking for the first down. James Jones going outside. Let's see if he's got it. Should have it. If everything's in order, he's ridden out of bounds at the 34-yard line in front of the Detroit bench. So the Lions takes them better than a quarter and a half to get their first down of the ball game.
I think we'll see them changing their approach just a little bit offensively and throw some shorter, high percentage passes on these early rundowns and try to keep the nickel defense off the field and attack them that way.
Their rushing game has been non-existent. Green Bay is on the scoreboard on a 48-yard field goal by Jan Stenerud. That's Mel Kaufman, number 55, the linebacker for the Redskins, hobbling off. 1st and 10, Lions at their 34. Hipple again under pressure from Manley, and Dexter drills him. Manley, number 72, with the big pass rush from the right side. And I think he's given Rich Springer a little welcome to the NFL.
Well, actually, on this side was Chris Dietrich, number 72, that he beat. He's over on the left side. Stringer's playing over on the right side. This Manley can rush the passer. He has great speed. Now watch him right there. The tackle made a mistake right there by jamming too hard and lost him. See, he's right angles to the line of scrimmage right there. You can't keep blocking a man that way. Turned him loose. That offensive lineman has to stay in front of him and not turn right angles to that line of scrimmage.
2nd down, 18. Hipple's been trapped 3 times for -26. Here comes Manley again. Gets rid of the ball. Thompson at the 40 up to the 43-yard line. Leonard Thompson, the Lions' leading receiver, makes the catch. That's still short of the first down by a couple of yards. And Mark Murphy, number 29, on the stop.
This was a great job. Really a good job by Hipple because he's just been sacked. He gets back there. You know, a lot of quarterbacks start hearing footsteps at this time, but he doesn't. He sits in there. Butts coming in, putting pressure on him. Now we've got the wide receiver running a little square in. See him come in there right now. It's tackle right there. It was a zone coverage down there, not covered tight man-to-man.
17-yard pickup. It is 3rd and 1 for the Lions at their 43. Reese McCall in motion. James Jones has the first down as he drives over the right side across the 45 out to the 48-yard line. Neil Okowitz, number 52, the middle linebacker for the Redskins, in on the tackle. Jones, the 13th player selected in the NFL draft. Kaufman, who was injured a moment ago.
He's another one of those free agents.
They have so many.
Cal Poly San Luis Obispo in California.
It's John Madden's old school.
Yeah.
You know, Madden and Joe Gibbs used to be roommates.
Can you believe that? I bet.
Hipple looking for Norris. And Murphy, number 29, was over there defending for the Redskins.
Mark Murphy. Real nice job here. Actually, he had him beat if he could have gotten the ball to him there on time. It was a little late, but Mark Murphy does a nice job of driving inside out on the play. Reaches, dives, tips the football. Nice job by Mark Murphy.
Seven-year veteran. Yep, 7-year veteran from Colgate. He was one of the few free agents that made the team when George Allen was the head coach.
One of two that year.
2nd and 10 from the 47. Hipple fumbles it, picks it up. Out to Jones. Jones lets it go, and finally just drops on it at the 42 for a loss of 5 or 6. That thing is getting a little slippery.
They went over and double covered the weak side wide receiver that time. Leonard Thompson. You can see, can't see it there on the screen. He had a wet ball. He dropped it. He picked it up. Good poise. Tries to lay it off out here. Good defense by the defender coming up there. He loses the ball. Presence of mind to go back and get it.
Stuart Anderson, number 58, who came up quickly. That sets up a 3rd down. 15.
These are tough situations. Now, they've been breaking down in their nickel because they have 3 new nickel people in that secondary.
Redskins, keep in mind, have been vulnerable to the pass, but they've got the rush on Hipple today. Gets that one away for Thompson. Thompson slips and falls. Thompson trying to make his cut. Defended against by Brian Carpenter, number 41, and lost his footing. And the pass slithers harmlessly to the grass.
You can see him try to regain. It was an underthrown ball because actually Eric Hipple lost the ball when he threw it. It slipped off his hand. Wasn't a cleanly thrown ball. Tried to come back for it. Dry field, he would have been able to do it.
Black in to do the punting. His last one was a thunderous 56 yards. Now the deep man will be Darrell Green, the speedster from Texas A&I. Well, Green the other night run down Ellis, the Green Bay running back. Earlier this year, he ran down Tony Dorsett.
He said he can run down anybody.
He said he could run down Dorsett 10 out of 10 times, what he told me. Nope. He went down at the 5. And the ball is dead at that point. Now, the question is, the college rule, obviously, you get your knee down, you're down. But in the pros, you got to be touched.
That's right. I think he did touch him. I think it was a good call by the official. Mike Black is doing an excellent job of punting.
Doesn't have to be much of a touch.
No, it doesn't. You can see number 54 coming down right now. That's Roosevelt Barnes. See him right here? He slips right there. He slips. He touches him right there when he's down. Maybe I'm calling what I wanted to see. I don't know. That was close.
52 yards on the punt by Black. We've got a timeout with 2:59 left in the half.
We're back, and you can see, actually, I think we blew the call on that punt return. Now, watch this closely. His knee does not, he ducks under. Roosevelt Barnes right there. His knee does not go down. A great job of balancing. It's his hand and elbow that went down. Actually, the play should not have been blown dead.
What an acrobatic move, though, by Green.
Shows you what kind of athletic ability he has.
Now, one thing, for those of you who follow the nuances of the game, such as field position, it is completely turned around from the first quarter. Now the Redskins are saddled with the poor field position. Back at their 5, and Theismann thrown from out of the end zone. That's 6 points. defensive effort by Al Latimer, number 43, but we got a flag, so hold everything. He's picking up the flag, so that would indicate the penalty was against the Lions.
Holding, number 59, defense, penalty declined, first down.
84 yards by Alvin Garrett.
They had double coverage up there short. You can see Al Latimer, number 43, just has him short and releases him right there. Now the safety has to come over and make the play and misjudges the ball, number 35, Alvin Hall. Now you can see how Al Latimer can really run because Garrett can run. Latimer catches him. Al Latimer was a track man in Clemson. Look at this guy run. He's out there free. Hi, Mom. Now he's starting to get tired. His shoulders are coming back. Here comes Latimer. Nice job of saving by Al Latimer.
Ran him out of bounds, they say, at the 12-yard line. It is 1st and 10. Theismann lost it. Scramble for the ball down at the 8. Let's see who comes up with it. The Redskins recover for a gain of about 4 on the play.
That's a heck of an offensive play, but I don't think they have it in the book.
Garrett, who got a breather for one play, comes back in.
That was a great job by Theismann of throwing the ball in between double coverage. That ball is normally completed right about 20 yards. Look at this one right here. They're looking for that. Where are the offensive hogs? Here they are. They know how to get down there and grunt and groan on that wet stuff.
This used to be George Allen weather. When George used to coach here, they used to call it that.
He ordered it.
Jeff Bostic made the recovery. 2nd down from the 8-yard line. They have to get to the 2 for the first. Theismann wants all of it. Over the middle, touchdown. Joe Washington. So the leading point-producing team in the National Football League has struck again and lead it 20-3. How about that drive? Backed up to their own 5-yard line, 3 plays, and they score.
You know, that's the same thing the Oakland Raiders did to them coming out of here a few weeks back. Joe Washington just ran a little circle back to the inside.
We'll take a look at it in just a moment. Right now, though, Mosley trying to add on the extra point. The kick is good. 2:06 left to play in the first half.
You can see the man going in motion, but look right to the right of your screen. 57, number Kent Petty, is dropping the play linebacker there on Washington. Washington beat him back inside in between the 2 linebackers. We saw them doing that on the practice field Friday. He has more than one option as to where he's going to throw the football.
Jeff Hayes getting ready to kick off for the Washington Redskins, who just traveled 95 yards. It took him just 3 plays and less than 1 minute. And, of course, the big one, the 84-yarder from Theismann to Garrett to set it up. Theismann now with 2 touchdown passes. Alvin Hall at the goal line. To the 10, 15, crosses the 20. Driven out of bounds at about the 27, and here comes the 2-minute warning. So the warning going to both benches with the Redskins leading the Lions 21-3. We'll be back in just a moment. Lions ball 1st and 10. And they'll move it from their 28-yard line as we get back to play with 1:56 remaining in the first half. Nichols wide to the left side. The rookie Chadwick set inside of him at the bottom of your screen. And Thompson split to the right. Hipple. Floater intended for Nichols. Picked off. That's Vernon Dean at the 35. Down to the 30-yard line. And the Redskins are in position to do some more damage before halftime. Redskins coming back with a vengeance after their loss to the Green Bay Packers. They know they can't afford to lose another game and stay close to Dallas.
They had the receiver double covered, and they went inside and tried to run the pattern on Bernardine, who was playing safety in this situation. There he just goes up and takes the ball away. That's actually not a real good throw by Eric.
It seemed to hang in the air a bit. We've got a timeout. Right. We'll be back at RFK Stadium in just a moment. Been a long afternoon for Eric Hipple so far. 4 out of 12 for only 26 yards. Even Billy Sims has run it 3 times and picked up only 1 yard. 1st and 10, Redskins at the Lions 30. Rick Walker, the tight end, is in motion. Theismann wants some more. Goes to Walker out in the flat. Nothing this time. He was well covered over on the far side by the Lions' Jimmy Williams. Cleveland leading Cincinnati. We got a flag down. Of course, we'll have all the scores for you. Williams a little upset with Walker.
This is going to be a personal foul. Unsportsmanlike conduct on Gay. I think he actually tore Jacoby's helmet off his head and threw it. I didn't see the whole thing.
Of course, Rick Walker is one of your old friends from UCLA. He played for you on the Rose Bowl team, didn't he?
Coached him both years I was there. Really enjoyed working with the guy. Very conscientious guy. Good athlete. Played wide receiver part of the time.
It's against the Lions, and we'll move it down to the 15-yard line.
Unsportsmanlike conduct foul. Number 79, defense. 1st down.
William Gay of the Lions got a little upset.
He's got to maintain his poise a lot better than that.
By the way, the long pass to Garrett a few moments ago from Joe Theismann was the longest completion of Theismann's career. And Joe's having some kind of day, even in the rain. 11 out of 14 for 169. Theismann looking in the end zone, rifles it. Handed for Garrett down to the 10. There's a flag. And pass interference is being called on number 57 of the Detroit Lions. That's Ken Fanchetti, the middle linebacker. Of course, the Lions have been victimized by penalties all year long. They're among the most penalized teams in the National Football League, and it has just cost them that, and the turnovers more or less responsible for that string of 4 straight losses. Here's Jerry Markright.
Pass interference. Number 56, defense. 1st down.
I think it was a good call, Frank. I really
Correction, number 57. 57.
See number 57 at the bottom of your screen right there. Now he's at the right corner of your screen. Follow him closely. See, he's on the guy with his right hand way too early. Good call by the official. They're not always wrong.
Up 27. You didn't say that when you were coaching.
No, it's a lot easier to say that up here.
It is 1st and goal to go from the 10-yard line. Washington got a hold. Goes outside and takes it to the 5. Heads for the end zone and is bumped out of bounds at the 3.
I think he'd sort of like to get in there. He hasn't scored a touchdown running this year. The key to this play is number 85. See him the end of the line of scrimmage there. He gets a nice little block. Then the 2 guards are coming out here. You're going to see him in a second. Now watch Joe turn up inside. You got to tackle him with your shoulder pad, not your arms, young man.
Finally bumped out of bounds by Gary Cobb, number 53. The officials mark it at the 3. It'll be 2nd and goal. A minute 20 left to play in the 1st half. And the Redskins leading 21-3. And about to score again. 2 backs in there in the short yardage situation. It is Evans who scored earlier. Touchdown. The short yardage specialist with Riggins out of there. Drives across for his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. Theismann has thrown for a pair.
You can see the tight end, Clint Didier, is going to kick out block right there. See that? Now the fullback, Otis Onsley. What a great block by Onsley, number 39. See him hit that man? He was the guy that made the play go.
Onsley will try to tack on the extra point. Perfect. A minute 16 left in the half. And the Redskins lead has vaulted now to 28-3. And the fans here at RFK Stadium, quite naturally, love it. Detroit has never won in Washington.
They're 0-9 in Washington.
Doesn't look like it's going to get any better, barring a miraculous 2nd half comeback. keep in mind, next Sunday, CBS Sports brings you doubleheader action. First half of the Twin Bill, the Cowboys against the Giants. You know, those two teams didn't play at all last year because of the strike, and earlier this year they had a heck of a game in Dallas.
Well, they always have a tough football game. The Giants, as other people, just like to play against the Cowboys.
And if you're not watching that game, you'll be looking at Tampa Bay against Pittsburgh or Detroit versus Chicago. That could be a war.
Oh, that could be.
The second half of the doubleheader, Rick and I will be in the Orange Bowl to watch the Rams take on the Dolphins. You get a look at Dan Marino, the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, that game's been moved to 4 o'clock.
Hayes with the kickoff. Alvin Hall will field it 5 yards deep and elect not to run it out. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. 1 minute, 16 seconds left to play in the first half. Hipple has got to be feeling like he needs a bunker back there to keep those on-rushing defensive linemen out. That's what the Redskins are getting now. They didn't have last ball game. It's that big pressure from up front.
There's always somebody in his face. You're coming around him. He's thrown out of a foxhole back there. He just can't see real well.
He is 4 out of 12 for 26 yards net passing. They've only rushed for 23, so the total offense for the Lions has been virtually nil. Hipple running for his life and trying to hit James Jones. And Jones took a pretty good pop from Anthony Washington.
There you have to
Nickelback.
Frank, excuse me, but there you really have to credit the coverage. He just couldn't find anybody open to throw the football to.
Coming up at halftime, 1 minute and 8 seconds from now, scores and highlights. Brent Nerve will be on hand. And we have a little feature for you called the Rams Family Robinson. How's that for a play on words?
That really is a dandy.
The family has changed out there in the last year or so.
Boy, the attitude's changed. We saw that when we were out there.
Against the Lions. 2nd and 10. Hipple from the shotgun delivers over the middle. Chadwick at the 29-yard line, the rookie wide receiver from Grand Valley State, picks it up, and that should be enough for the first down.
He's a free agent. Was recommended to the coaching staff by the other tight end from Grand Valley State, or they'd have never found him.
That's only the 3rd first down of the game for the Lions. That had a chance of being picked off. Intended for Billy Sims, who has been a non-factor so far. Anthony Washington was back there defending. Lonnie Clark told us Sims was really pumped up to come back and play last week against the Bears. He had 77 yards rushing, but he's having a tough time getting it going today.
Well, everybody does against these Redskins. You know, over the 7 years of coaching against these people, one year it was easier to run and try to win than it was to pass, and then next year it'd be easier to pass. This year, probably better off trying to pass to beat them.
Steady rain continues to fall, as it has since the middle of the night here in Washington. 3rd and 10. Rolled incomplete. Sims, the intended receiver, had it for a moment, couldn't hold it. 4th down. Make it 3rd down. Correction. Darrell Green was back defending. You know, when you're a coach or a player and you wake up and you look out the window on Sunday morning and you see a day like this, what goes through your mind?
Well, when I was in college coaching, it used to bother me. But in pro coaching, the players have a totally different attitude. It's a way to make a living, and they can do nothing about the weather. They just line up and play.
Especially if you practice in it.
Right.
Like the Redskins do. Hipple over the middle. Look out. 3 Redskins had that one completely surrounded, and Rich Malott, number 57. He had the interception.
That's high-risk passing right there. Throwing late down the middle into a zone is really trouble. You can see the defenders are all dropped back there. He's just sitting back there reading the quarterback's eyes, and old Malott almost has himself an interception. He is their most improved football player, they say, and the best linebacker on their team.
Hipple saying, let's get to the locker room and talk about this, and maybe we can come up with something for the second half. 28-3, Redskins. 30 seconds left to play in the half. Black to do the punting. Black's had a good day. When your punter is your outstanding player, you're in deep trouble. Green, 30, up to the 40-yard line, and down at the 43.
Boy, he's courageous. He just attacks that coverage.
Green was the last player picked in the 1st round of the draft, and he's paid big dividends. Instant starter for the Redskins at the cornerback position, and that's where they've had their problems. Of course, they lost the 2 players. They lost Jerris White, who held out. They lost Tony Peters because of the drug situation.
Lavender retired.
That can really mess you up.
And Joe Lavender retired.
Right.
That caused them to lose the other back in the nickel defense, so they're really inexperienced back there.
1st and 10 for the Redskins at their 42-yard line. Theismann's not satisfied. He wants some more before halftime. Going to Giaquino. Great diving catch at the 30. What a grab. Clock has run down to 12 seconds. The Redskins have the timeouts to spare, and they're going to call one right now.
That was a great throw and a difficult throw for the quarterback, let alone it be raining. That's a difficult throw at any time versus air with no defense. Joe Theismann on the practice field the other day watching him throw for 2 hours. I don't think I saw 2 or 3 footballs hit the turf. They were all complete. I've always been a fan of his. I've always thought he was the best that we were going to compete against.
And as we said, a great wet weather quarterback. Coming up at halftime, Brent Musburger and Irv Cross back in the studio where it's dry in New York. Have all the scores for you. Highlights of the first half of play, not only from this game, but others as well. And the feature on the Los Angeles Rams. And the newly found success to their new head coach, John Robinson, who Dick and I will see in Miami next week. That could be one of the big games of the year as far as interconference games are concerned.
I'm sure it'll be an intense game.
That's our score, and the Redskins want to put one more on the board. 1st and 10 from the 31 of the Lions. Theismann, fantastic afternoon, going for Art Monk, throws it away. Monk was double covered. Watkins was down there, so was Graham. And no place to go.
I thought Watkins, number 27, was shoving Art Monk beyond the 5-yard chuck zone. Should have been a penalty.
We did have a penalty here. They put Theismann at 11 out of 15 for 195 yards. Well, they're going to go for the field goal, quite obviously, and 2nd down. Time running out. Clock is down to 6 seconds. This will be a 47-yard effort by Mosley.
He's 53% complete from this.
That's going to be short. Ball's under the crossbar.
Incomplete.
Now, there is a guy that has murdered you in the past in Philadelphia, hasn't he?
Oh, he has. He's kicked him in the final seconds of the game.
Wait a minute. Roughing the kicker against the Lions. They're going to give Mosley another shot at it, looks like.
Let's take a look. You cannot touch the kicker unless you're blocked into him. He was not blocked into him. That is a penalty.
The big rush that time by the Detroit Lions. Bruce McNorton, number 29.
Moves it to what?
Move it inside the 30. About the 26, looks like.
Personal foul. Running into the kicker. Number 29. Defense. Automatic 1st down.
Now, the automatic 1st down means little with just 2 seconds left on the clock. It will enable Mosley to get another shot at it. This will be a 43-yard effort.
Overall in his career, he's 53% successful here. 1-for-1 this year.
Long enough this time, and no good. Missed it to the left.
He does have an advantage kicking in the wet weather over the soccer-style kicker, though, because of the good firm foot coming straight at it, the plant foot.
And he, of course, is the only straightaway kicker left in the NFL. All Redskins here in the first half. We're at intermission. Washington leads Detroit 28-3. Dick Vermeil and I will be back with you shortly.
Meanwhile, back in the National Football League, here are the scores as Irv and I have them at the moment. The Chicago Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles are about ready to start the second half. The Bears scored the only touchdown in the rain in Philadelphia, and they lead the Eagles now by a score of 7-0. It was Vince Evans making this pass to Dennis McKinnon. McKinnon is a rookie receiver out of Florida State. He was almost cut by the team, but Mike Ditka at the last moment decided to keep him. And today he has scored for Ditka and the Bears, and they lead the Eagles by 7 points. Cleveland is ahead of Cincinnati right now by a touchdown, 14-7. Brian Sipe has thrown 2 touchdown passes for the Browns in that game. Minnesota leads the Green Bay Packers at the half. 10-3 is the score there. Steve Dills passed for the Vikings' only touchdown. Went to Sammy White after a slick run set it up by Ted Brown. White is having an excellent year for the Vikings, too, Irv.
13-yard catch. Did a great job breaking those 2 defensive backs back there, finding the hole in the zone.
10-3 is the count on that game. New England and Buffalo and Grogan has thrown the only touchdown pass in that game. He hit Derek Ramsey, so the Patriots lead the Bills 7-0 there at the half there. Kansas City and Houston, 10-7. They are also at the half. The story there, though, is Earl Campbell of the Oilers. Because of a pulled groin muscle, he will not play in the second half. He left having rushed for some 54 yards in the opening half. Miami's rookie quarterback Dan Marino has thrown still another touchdown pass. He hit Nat Moore. Now the Dolphins are ahead of the Colts by 7 in the second quarter. The New York Jets, of course, many of you are watching this game. They got the big run out of Bruce Harper, and they lead the Falcons right now by 7 points. Meanwhile, the Washington Redskins are without John Riggins. They're without Mike Nelms. They are without downtown Charlie Brown, and it is not slowing up this team at all. They lead the Lions 28-3. This was their last touchdown, and it was scored by Reggie Evans. He's a rookie running back out of Richmond, and he has tallied twice for the Redskins today. And I know that many of you, of course, are already well aware of the tragic story involving defensive lineman Gabe Rivera of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was critically injured in an automobile accident a couple of days ago. He was upgraded from critical to serious. However, Rivera remains paralyzed at this hour from the shoulders down. And, of course, the Steelers will be playing with a heavy heart this afternoon out in Seattle against the Seahawks. The NFL Today will continue on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Monday.
Irv, later today, San Francisco will be aiming to stop one Ram running back.
Boy, and he's a great one, too, Brent. You know, according to conventional wisdom, it's a big jump from college to pro football. But in Southern California this season, an ex-Mustang and former Trojan are making that transition look easy. As a result, the Los Angeles Rams are no longer playing like sheep. Football is simple. Find the hole, run through it. Last year, the Rams couldn't seem to do that. But now, Eric Dickerson is finding daylight where there used to be darkness. And John Robinson has brought a new sunny atmosphere to Anaheim. Those are two ingredients that today are the Rams challenging for undisputed first place in the NFC West. On the field, the most important personnel change is rookie Eric Dickerson. He leads the league in rushing, averaging 125 yards a game.
If I break into the open, I think I'm gone. If you give me a step on a person, I don't think I can be caught. You know, a lot of pressure is put on me, you know, can I carry the Los Angeles Rams, you know, running attack? And I wouldn't say I've proved that, but I've done very well running the football, and I think we've done very well as an offensive unit.
Everyone knows it's the offensive line that makes a runner look great. But Dickerson has convinced the Rams it also works the other way around.
Eric Dickerson has had an outstanding impact on us. It's always good to know that you got a guy that if you give him a crack, he can make it seem like he's running through a gaping hole.
In the Rams' new simplified one-back system, no one in football carries the ball more than Dickerson. He loves to run, loves to hit, but he also wants a long career.
Eric Dickerson is no fool. I'll say that much. He's no fool. I mean, when you got 3 and 4 guys coming at you, why should I try to take on 3 and 4 guys weighing about 500 pounds, you know, coming all at once? So, yes, I will step out of bounds and take unnecessary punishment.
On Saturday afternoons, Brent and Air oftentimes talk about college football's spirit and enthusiasm. The same kind of spirit found here on the campus of Southern California, where Coach Robinson coached 2 of the university's 4 Heisman Trophy winners. But one of the most important things he took with him down the road to Anaheim when he left here was a big piece of that college spirit. As a rookie coach, Robinson is still learning NFL-level X's and O's, but he's teaching the Rams how to have fun again.
I believe very strongly in trying to create a positive atmosphere. Getting the best out of somebody depends on the environment that you put them in. It was very important to me that our football team get out from under the image of being a loser.
The loser's image is gone. Even in practice, the attitude is confident and relaxed, because Robinson has the Rams believing in themselves.
We'd forgot a little bit what it was like to win, but he's come in with a new attitude, and he seems to always have the right things to say, you know, to get the guys motivated.
I think we all respond better to somebody saying, hey, you're a really good player, you know, as opposed to say, boy, you're lousy. I mean, every time anybody told me I was lousy, okay, I guess I am, you know.
Nobody thinks the Rams are lousy anymore. Even if the 49ers freeze Eric Dickerson today, they can't douse the fire built by John Robinson.
He's brought the attitude of, hey, we can win no matter if it's 2 seconds left on the clock or if the game just begins. And we just keep welling away, and guys just want to play hard and harder.
That dice football was just for fun. Hey, listen, John Robinson's John Robinson's turned it around with that team, hasn't he?
Well, he didn't really call it a turnaround. He said he felt he could win what he has right now. He just has to get the players to believe in themselves, and they're winning.
Big game, Rams and 49ers. Now let's send you back to the stadium and the game you're enjoying on CBS.
Thank you very much, Brandon. Welcome back to RFK Stadium. Halftime with the Redskins leading the Lions 28-3. I'm Frank Glieber along with Dick Vermeil. Well, without Riggins, I would have to say the Redskins are faring right well.
They can play without Riggins. Joe Theismann has been and always will be the key to that offense. He's the guy that makes things go. Riggins being the one back like he was last year in the backfield all the time, carrying the ball 30 times. If the average is 4 yards a carry, there's 120 yards. The one back gets all the credit. But Theismann, I really believe, is the whole key to the offense.
Well, the Lions' offensive scheme certainly hasn't been anything to write home about so far. What do they have to do here in the second half?
Well, first off, they have to make sure they maintain or obtain some real good field position. They started out in the first quarter with lousy field position, and they wanted to run the ball. It was obvious, but they weren't making any yards.
What do you tell your teams when you were down 28-3 at halftime?
Hey, we've all been there. If you've been in coaching, you've been there. The big thing you do is try to maintain your poise, and you can't talk about, hey, we're only 3 plays out of the game. You have to talk about playing for the breaks. Make sure that if the ball's on the turf, you get it. If the ball's in the air, you intercept it, because Washington has to cooperate now. They have to help Detroit beat them.
Well, the Redskins have the reputation as a bad-weather team, and that's certainly proving to be the case once again at RFK Stadium today. Both teams back. Second-half kickoff in just a moment. Continues to fall here at RFK Stadium as the second half gets underway. Redskins kicking off to the Lions, and Jeff Hayes will do the honors. Back deep for Detroit, number 35, who is Alvin Hall, and number 31 is Ken Jenkins. Great kick. Coming down at the 5. Hall back to the 15, 20, across the 25 to the 27. If you look at the halftime statistics so far, they pretty well bear out the score. Look at that first down differential. Look at the differential in passing. And look at the meager number of yards that the Lions have picked up.
Boy, that's really obvious how the ball game's going. They just have to right now get this ball moving right now.
Take a look at the two quarterbacks. You can see the type of day that Joe Theismann has, belying his reputation certainly as an outstanding bad-weather quarterback.
Gary Danielson now in a quarterback, Frank.
Well, remember several weeks ago, Dick and I did the Atlanta-Detroit game. Some of you may have seen it. They got behind and did not run a single running play in the second half. Went to the shotgun. He breaks him out of the tee. Gary Danielson coming on for the 5th time in 8 games in relief of Hippel, who has had a very bad afternoon. Comes out with a completion to Leonard Thompson for short yardage. The way that defensive line has been rushing, if you look at the figures on Danielson so far this year, you think they'll go to that short passing game?
I really do. I expected that in the second quarter. The field position may have stopped them from doing it, but now they're going to come out and do that. Washington Redskins ran a strong safety blitz here on first down, so they're here to play. They're going after him.
Pick up on the play with 4 yards. It is second down 6. Lions at their 31, trail by a score of 28-3. Danielson, big rush. Just did get the pass away and really had the boom lowered on him by Charles Mann. Number 71, the young defensive lineman. Watch Mann come blowing through there.
Charlie Mann, number 71, right of your screen. See him coming off the ball right there to the right, going around now. Chris Dietrich, number 72, he beats him inside. And then he lost his balance, and there's old Charles Mann coming after. He's a rookie. Number 3 draft choice. Out of Nevada, Reno. He knows how to gamble anyway.
Anyway, third down and 5.
He's excited. He hasn't been able to play much this year.
Lions go to the shotgun from their 31. Chadwick, rookie wide receiver in motion. Danielson back to throw it, floats it over the middle, and he rolled an incompleted forward pass. Intended for Leonard Thompson, who couldn't hold it.
1, 2, 3 and out. That's tough.
Anthony Washington back defending for the Redskins, and the Lions forced to punt once again.
Frank, I sort of sense that the Redskin defense really was embarrassed last Monday night, and they're here to play. Regardless of what the score is now, they're going to go after him like it's nothing to nothing.
That man has been the outstanding player so far for the Lions, Mike Black. You talk about if you're kicking a wet ball, tough having a good day. We got Giaquino back for the first time. They were using the defensive back, Darrell Green, as their primary kick returner, with Nelms out with an injury. This one is short, bounces at the 40, takes a lion hop, and will roll inside the Washington 30-yard line. Finally downed at the 28 by Roosevelt Barnes. Once again, a reminder, one of the big games of the year in college football coming up next Saturday on CBS, Michigan and Illinois. Yesterday, we had some game. That Texas SMU game came down to a 2-point play. And you wonder about the 2-point play. They've never thought about it seriously for the pros.
It's been recommended within the NFL meetings, but always turned down. There's an establishment within the National Football League. They don't like to change things, and sometimes they don't like it just because the colleges do it.
Well, it sure made it exciting yesterday in that Texas SMU game, and more of the same type of thrills upcoming next Saturday when Michigan meets Illinois. Possible Rose Bowl berth at stake. First and 10 Redskins. Joe Washington pops back inside. 40, 45, puts a move on Graham down to the 40. Latimer trying to run him down. No place to go for little Joe. And finally run down at the 30-yard line. I don't know if he ran out of gas or just spun around and didn't know which way to go.
He was going to reverse around and pick up some blockers coming downfield.
I believe it was Doug English, the defensive lineman, who finally ran him down.
You're going to see now the guard pulling over here. See the big guard, Russ Grimm, number 68, coming around here. Now he makes right there, gets a key block. Now he's back up inside. Now it's a speed running away from Vantetti, number 57. This guy can fly. There he is. He cuts back now right here. You see Alvin Hall, number 55, and he has great speed. Now he's going to turn around and try to find some blocks. Come and help me, guys, he's saying. Come and help me.
Well, it was Gay down there quickly, and then English finally comes in to make the stop. That's a 41-yard pickup and a first down at the 31-yard line. Wansley bounces outside and picks up some yardage down to the 26. What a splash. Washington, that's a career total of 4,000 yards for him. So Joe with a memorable moment this afternoon on that particular carry.
You know, he is really a total person, too. He's the Miller Man of the Year nominee in the Washington Redskins squad. You know, that's an award or a nomination for all the things you do outside of football and charity events and youth events and everything. He's really a contributor to the community.
Interesting that both tailbacks today play their college football at OU. Billy Sims, of course, for the Lions, and Washington, of course, preceded Sims by several years. Wansley, who has not seen that much action this year, picks up a couple of yards over the right side to about the 25-yard line. And the Redskins are looking at 3rd down and 5. Gary Cobb makes the stop, number 53. Other scores from around the National Football League. Tony Franklin has kicked a field goal, and the Eagles are on the scoreboard in the 3rd period against the Bears. Cleveland leading Cincinnati 14-7. That's remained the same since the 2nd period of play. And Miami, 2 touchdowns up on Baltimore. Their rookie quarterback, Dan Marino from Pittsburgh, who will be seeing next week against the Rams. High score, 28-3 Redskins. On 3rd and 4, Theismann trying to hit Joe Washington. Threw it a little behind him. On a dry day, you'd have to say that was probably a catchable ball. I don't know about a wet day.
And Joe couldn't get his feet to come back and try to make the play either. You know, Otis Wansley is the running back that Joe Gibbs was talking to us about yesterday. He'd really like to find out how that guy can run because he thinks he's a good football player.
Looks like he's going to give him an opportunity. Mosley. This will be a 42-yard effort with Theismann to hold. He missed 2 just before the half, you'll recall. One was short, one was off to the left. Now 16 out of 22 on the year. Long enough. No good. Bad day for Mark Mosley. Fortunately, they haven't needed him so far.
Can you believe these fans?
They're booing him. That is amazing that they were booing this man who last year hit 23 in a row and probably more responsible than anyone else, or as much as anyone else, for getting to the Super Bowl.
Has 1,016 points kicking the ball.
This is a couple of meaningless field goals here. James Jones on the handoff to the 29-yard line.
He never missed him kicking against us.
Rich Malott, number 57, on the stop. Look at this,
that.
Look at this graphic.
Criminy sakes. 14 yards of snap on 1st down.
That's rather telling, isn't it?
That really is. I've never seen anything like that. Glaring.
2nd down, 5. Lions still trying to get some yardage on the ground. Sustaining the shotgun. Danielson going for Thompson, batted in the air and almost intercepted. This secondary does not look like the worst pass defensive team in the NFL today.
No, they're not playing against Green Bay today either, but this guy can throw the ball, and Detroit has thrown the ball efficiently. But I still think it goes back to they were embarrassed, and they're coming back strong.
The old pride factor, huh? Cleveland, Cincinnati are now tied in the third period.
You know, Joe Gibbs made a comment that's really maybe true. He said the defense is either going to start getting better or else they're going to lose their confidence. And they're starting to get better.
From the shotgun on 3rd and 5, Danielson over the middle hits the rookie Chadwick for the first down at the 45-yard line. So the Lions keep the drive going. The veteran Gary Danielson as Darrell Green makes the stop. Danielson, a free agent, signed back in 1976. Pretty good rush here by the Redskins. Look at Manley. He's been here all day.
Yeah, he wants to play. Ooh, mate. Oh, he pulls off. He pulls off. That's all right.
That's Tony McGee.
Tony McGee.
So his diving form there, I'd give him about a 8.3.
I teased him yesterday. I said he's been playing this league long enough to have worn a leather helmet.
Only 13 years. Star with the Patriots for many years. 1st and 10. Lions at their 45. Jones to near midfield to pick up a 5 yards or so in the play, but that's not going to get it for the Lions, who are down 28-3 as the rain continues to pelt down. Charles Mann, number 71, on the stop for the Redskins.
This is still the best approach for Frank. Go ahead and use your offense and don't try to score on one play every time, because they're going to embarrass you if you do that.
Jones with 9 carries for 33 yards. Miami pouring it on Baltimore. Colts, of course, early surprise in the league, but people are starting to take him seriously now. 2nd and 5. Inside handoff again going to Jones. A yard, maybe 2 on that play.
They're bringing that tight end back inside and try to block on defensive linemen. It looks like the timing is just a little bit off.
You know, surprised they're keeping it on the ground here since they trail, and the clock certainly an ally of the Redskins. They need a big play here, don't they?
Yeah, but I still think they're better off than to try to get 5 and 10 yards and 8 yards of crack rather than trying to go downfield too far all the time, because they get the turnover if they do that.
3rd down, a little less than 5 needed for the first down. Again, Danielson out of the shotgun and completes it for the first down. Jeff Chadwick, the rookie wide receiver, free agent from Grand Valley State, little school in Michigan, who was the sensation of the Lions training camp this year, making the reception.
He's just going to go right down. See him in the middle of the screen there. He's in the slot. He's taking an inside angle on a guy playing him inside, and then he just turns around and stops right there. Right in between the I&O coverage, inside and outside coverage. Good job. He got knocked out doing that last week. He caught the ball, and they put him away for the day.
They really hit him, too. I tell you, they really drilled it. He was knocked unconscious. 1st and 10. Lions with a mini drive going here. It's now reached the Redskin 41-yard line. Reese McCall, the tight end, is in motion. Pressure on Danielson, who delivers, trying to reach Thompson. Trying to make a diving catch at the near sideline. Couldn't come up with the ball. Defended against by Green. And it is getting a wee bit slippery down there. I'll tell you, they call it Redskins weather here in Washington. Doesn't seem to phase them in the least. And this field can get awfully sloppy, but the Hogs love it.
Hey, they do. In fact, they're incorporated now. They're incorporated. George Stark, who's a real bright guy out of Columbia, incorporated this hog thing because people were going off and making their own shirts and all that kind and making money off it. Now they make a penny or two.
That's the name that Joe Bugle gave to the offensive line for the Redskins. Got him a great deal of notoriety last year and route to the Super Bowl. 2nd and 10. Lions from the Redskin 41. Offside on somebody. Out to Jones. Jones trying to reach the 35. Breaks a tackle. Still in bounds to the 20. Inside the 15. And finally out of bounds at the 13-yard line. But there's a penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage.
Of course, they'll refuse it. I think the Redskins were offsides.
Mark Murphy finally made the stop, but if the option lies with the Lions, of course, they'll turn it down and take the gain.
You can see that Jones is mobile, you know, and flexible type guy.
Number 57, defense, decline, first down.
Coming back from the end zone now. See Jones, the fullback, the three-point stance right behind the quarterback, moving off to the left. He's getting time to lay it off now. He just lays it off, gets hit late. Now he's out there one-on-one with a defensive back. Boom, he runs him over. That's a 230-pound man running over Vernon Dean, a defensive back. Now he has the speed to go ahead and get downfield.
That's a 28-yard pickup on the play. And a first down at the 13-yard line. I believe this is the Lions' deepest penetration.
It's the first drive they've had. They can get one in here. Looks like they're coming with a safety blitz.
Started back at their 25-yard line. Pitch to Sims. Got blockers in front. Sims to the 10, to the 5. Dives for the goal line. And let's see if he got in. Touchdown. Billy Sims diving for the flag and just did get into the end zone.
The strong safety was faking a blitz up inside and got caught inside. There was a great block by Ulysses Norris, number 80. Now the guard got out there and did a nice job. Here he is running it in. Wide receivers contributed good blocks. Not real good defensive play.
Don Greco, number 67, really threw a key block in that, clearing the path to Sims to get to the end zone. So the Lions have their first touchdown of the day after a 75-yard drive, showing some signs of life here in the third period with Gary Danielson at the throttle. Murray tacks on the extra point. We've got 8 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third. It's 28-10, Redskins. The Redskins lead the Lions by a score of 28-10 as the rain continues to pelt down here at RFK Stadium, but the Lions showing just a slight gasp of breath here as you look at the scoring drive, which covered 76 yards, far and away Detroit's most impressive drive of the day, capped by the 13-yard touchdown run by Billy Sims.
Now Washington has to make sure that they don't play into the Detroit Lions momentum side right now. They can't turn the ball over. They have to maintain their poise and move that football.
This would be a critical possession, I would think, for Detroit. If they can hold the Redskins, get the football back, they may have a shot at getting back in this game. Eddie Murray will kick it off. Goes to the far sideline to Wansley over there, and Wansley had a notion, but let it bounce out of bounds. So the Lions will be penalized. And we'll move it back 5. For an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Frank, the Jets just got another one. It was Scott Durkee, and they had a first and goal in this situation right here, and they just powered right straight ahead. And now the Jets are up on the Falcons by 2 touchdowns after that one. Let's go back to Frank.
Been a long season so far for Dan Henning, the former Washington assistant coach, now in charge of Atlanta.
You know, he was very relaxed when we saw him in the game prior to the Detroit Lion game in Detroit. You know, it was just, but when you start losing a few as a head coach and you haven't experienced it before, then you recognize the difference between being a head coach and an assistant coach.
Of course, been no party for Joe Walton, as you saw in the NFL today. Walton is under a lot of heat, and then Bill Parcells as well in New York.
That's all part of the game, and they're all fine football coaches, too. There's no such thing as a poor football coach in the National Football League. When you're one of 28 people that make a living doing that, you can bet that you're pretty select in that group and have the quality to do the job.
And yet there are those who would rather not be, as yourself.
I paid my dues.
You only take it for so long. Garrett, 20, hurdles his way across the 30-yard line up to the 35. They're doing a little experimenting, so it would appear. We got a penalty marker down with the kick returners. Looks like Joe Gibbs giving everybody a shot, and Garrett comes up limping. Now, that's a guy you don't want to lose, especially with Charlie Brown out.
No, then they'll have to play Virgil C., but they have confidence in him, too. Joe Gibbs and his coaching staff have confidence in everybody they put in uniform, or they don't put them in uniform. That's their whole approach. Is that a flag down or a hanky down?
I think that's a hanky. I called it a hanky last week.
Yeah,
someone said they liked that. They hadn't heard hanky in a long time.
I thought that was a kick.
Holding number 54 on the run back. First down.
So the penalty is against Peter Cronin off the Redskins special unit. Redskins will have a 1st and 10 with a very wet ball back at their 20-yard line.
Cronin's been their special teams captain for a number of years in a row now. A really intense guy. Enjoyed watching him in the practice field the other day.
Been a long time since the Redskins offense has been on the field. Virgil C., who you talked about, is in the game. This is Washington. Gets a good block from C. Outside and out of bounds at the 27. Pickup of 7 on the play. Bring you up to date on the Miami-Baltimore game. Dan Marino has thrown a touchdown pass to Mark Duper, another outstanding player. And keep in mind, next week, Dick and I will be in the Orange Bowl. We'll watch the Rams take on the Dolphins, one of the key games of the weekend. Rams playing San Francisco today for the lead in the NFC West. And the Dolphins started a bit slowly this season, but since Don Shula made that change to Dan Marino, Marino is now the #1 passer in the AFC stats.
That shows you if you're mature enough and capable, physically, that you can start as a rookie and win.
Second down, a little less than 5 needed for the first down. Redskins from their 26. Joe Washington left, breaks into the clear at the 35, across the 40, and slides out to the 45. We see that maybe he's so small that you have a tough time seeing the guy. He gets underneath those big linemen, and you can't find him.
You can see him now. He's going to take a little step here, and now he's going to cut back. See the guard pulling Russ Grimm coming around there. Now the tackle, Jacoby, comes off on Vantetti, and he cuts right back underneath it. Very good combination blocking by Russ Grimm, number 68, and Joe Jacoby, number 66. They handle the defensive end and the inside linebacker in that under defense, and bang, you got a nice run.
Off to a great day with 127 yards rushing so far. In addition, he's caught a couple of passes for 14 yards. First and 10, the Redskins at their 42-yard line. As you'll see in motion across the backfield, they give it to Wansley, who's come in to give Washington a breather. And Wansley gets 3 or 4 out across the 45 to the 47-yard line.
They're about to come off that action pretty quick with a play-action pass, Frank. They have one in. We saw him do it on the field Friday.
You think so?
Yeah.
Of course, we also saw him throw that little pitch out to C, wasn't it? Through the halfback pass downfield. Off a reverse. Interesting to see if they pull that off. Of course, with a wet ball, you don't know, but
may not want to risk it. Plus, the game being the way it is, they may not want to do it.
Second down and 6. Redskins at their 47, lead 28-10. Joe Washington back in the game, looking for a hole. A little bit of running room, but not much as he takes it to the 49-yard line. They're looking at 3rd down and 3. Cleveland, Cincinnati back in 4th thing in Cincinnati this afternoon, and the Browns back out in front, 21-14. Gary Cobb making the stop on that last play. And there's one of the Smurfs, Garrett, who was shaken up after returning that kick.
He got 5 touchdowns in the playoffs last year and really didn't play much during the whole season. Somebody goes down, like we said, Charlie Brown got hurt. And bang, there he goes in and has a good game.
3rd down, 3 needed for the first down for the Redskins at their 49.
Actually, he replaced Art Monk, not Charlie Brown. I was wrong.
Monk got hurt in the last regular season game. Theismann trying to hit Nick Giaquinto. But good coverage that time by the Lions' Bruce McNorton, number 29, the nickelback. And the Lions' offense retreats to the sidelines, and Washington in a punting situation. So that'll bring on Hayes, who has done an outstanding job. We've got 5 minutes and 52 seconds left to play in the 3rd period here at RFK Stadium. It's been raining for hours, and the field in remarkably good shape, I would say, for the amount of rain we've had.
This is a new turf. It's not the old turf, and Joe Gibbs said it's a much better turf.
We've had some slipping and sliding, but not nearly as much as you'd expect, or as much as you've seen here in the past. Great high punt. Jenkins back at the 5, runs it out to the 10, trying to break a tackle or 2. Gets up to the 15, and he is surrounded by 6 white shirts. 4.68 on the hang time for Hayes. Beautiful job putting it up there. Lions will take over 1st and 10 on their 15. Frank Glieber along with Dick Vermeil back at RFK Stadium in Washington. 45 yards on the punt by Hayes. 9-yard counter punch by Jenkins. And a 1st and 10 for the Lions at their 15-yard line. They got a drive going the last time, 176. Got their first touchdown of the day under Danielson. See what they do this time around. Reese McCall, the tight end in motion. Pump it in once as Danielson letting it fly for Thompson. Thompson trying to catch up, and it's intercepted. Mark Murphy picks it off at the 50-yard line. Wily old veteran. He saw that coming all the way. He timed it just perfectly. And the 7-year veteran from Colgate, who was signed as a free agent back in 1977, makes the interception.
This is a great job of playing center field. He was a center fielder in the baseball team. Here comes Leonard Thompson down in there. He's trying to go by him. He does get by one man on that little move. Now here comes the free safety, making plays from sideline to sideline. He's got to be able to do that, just like playing center field at Colgate. He actually had major league opportunities in baseball.
So Mark Murphy got to be happy about that, though a bit wet. We've got a timeout here in Washington. Mark Murphy has just picked off his 4th interception of the year. 2nd for the Redskins this afternoon. Washington with a 1st and 10 with the ball at midfield. Joe Theismann, the fake to Joe Washington, looking downfield. Wide open is Warren, the tight end at the 35-yard line.
Been waiting for that. Been waiting for that play action off that action.
Don Warren, number 85, with the tackle made by Bobby Watkins, number 27. And the Redskins have a 15-yard pickup and a 1st down at the Lions' 35.
Warren donates $25 per catch to the American Heart Association, and the team matches it. So there's $50 for the American Heart Association.
Not bad. So the Redskins, who have been rather quiet offensively here in the 3rd period after running up a 28-3 halftime lead. Capitalize on the interception by Murphy, and the 1st down at the Lions' 35 as Garrett in motion across the backfield. Theismann. Oh, he saw the rush coming that time, and no place to go. Doug English, number 78, the big Texan from Austin, Texas, who is right behind Bill Gay in the NFC sack department. Picks up another one.
He's lined up on the center. See him right there, number 78. Now he works around right there and beats the center to his right. The center had no help on that side, and he goes ahead and gets the sack. He's an all-pro, been in the Pro Bowl a couple times. Now going into cattle ranching business. Had a nice visit with him yesterday.
8th year in the National Football League and a former 2nd-round draft choice, and that is a strong right side of your defensive line with English and Gay going for you. On 2nd and 19, Joe Washington getting a little sloppy over on the sidelines over there. And the little man not only runs with the ball, but catches it very well.
He's going to come out of the backfield and run as what is really called just an out pattern by the back, or a fan pattern. He breaks out on Roosevelt Barnes, the right linebacker. See him, Roosevelt Barnes, number 54, coming inside out. He just gave him a little too much room, and a man with that kind of quickness, you either got to jam him right down there or give him one way to go.
Well, they got 10 on the play. They needed 19 after the sack, so they're still looking at a 3rd down and 9. That's his 3rd catch. He's already over 100 yards in the rushing department. And we have not seen any of John Riggins, nor did we expect to, since he was in the hospital till Friday. This is an official timeout, and unless that's a new penalty signal, I don't know what Mark Bright is doing there.
Phones. I think that's a signal for working on the phones.
Alvin Garrett, number 89, looks like he's got a bit of a cramp problem.
See him over there in front of the Detroit bench. They got him working. He just signaled they've got him working. They'll go ahead and play. See? Both sides, the phone systems have to be working for both sides, home team and opponent.
And they just stop the game until they
stop it until it works, or they give you a backup phone. It gets a little hairy from time to time in the different stadiums.
And this is one of the noisiest, of course. 3rd down and 9. Redskins at the line, 34. Theismann back to throw it. Looks over the field. A great maneuverability, and completes the pass on the near sideline to Art Monk. But there's a flag at the point of the hit.
I didn't see anything wrong there.
Be very close for the 1st down around the 25-yard line. Bobby Watkins, number 27, on the stop, and Jerry Markbride will tell us what happened after he consults with Theismann here.
Pass interference, number 27, defense declined. 1st down.
He caught the ball anyway, so they'll take the 1st down.
Joe Theismann starts on a drop back, then rolls out. See all the linemen out there to help him. Now he's looking for the receivers downfield. Throws it. Can't see the interference right there, but it was close.
That's the great mobility of Theismann, buying time as he rolls out to the side and waited at just the right instant and then speared Monk.
They've improved that series in their offense. Last year they only had 1 or 2 things they did when he sprinted out there like that, but now they do a lot more from him. He really has taken advantage of it.
1st down, Redskins, nose of the ball just outside the Lions' 20. Virgil C in motion across the backfield. Washington just kind of feeling his way along the line of scrimmage until he found or smelled an opening. And it was to the right.
Russ Grimm, number 68, the left guard, got a block. You're going to see him pulling up. Watch right to the side of your screen. See number 68 pulling right there? You're going to see him. Here he comes. He's working around the line of scrimmage. Watch. Here he is right there. Now watch Grimm. Boom on that defensive back. Did he give him it to him?
Watkins.
Now he's out there.
Watkins is kind of
says,
wondering what hit me.
What was that, a semi?
Anybody get the number of that job?
Russ Grimm was the number 3rd round draft choice from Pittsburgh and was originally drafted to be an offensive center.
2nd down, 3. Redskins at the Lions 15. This time Rick Walker in motion. They give it to Joe. Washington trying to get outside, breaks one tackle, gets to the 10, and decides that's about enough. Why take the punishment? And steps out of bounds. Al Latimer, number 43, to play there to make sure. Jets pouring it on Atlanta, 21-0. That's in the 3rd period of play. Minnesota, what's happened to the Green Bay offense? You know, Green Bay plays every other week.
Yeah, well, so sometimes it's a different defensive team each week too, but they're never going to reach the emotional pitch that they reached last week in the ball game in Green Bay. I've never seen a game like that or enjoyed one, I think, any more than that football game.
That is John Riggins, the star Redskin running back, sidelined today, being in the hospital. He has what's the equivalent of a pinched nerve in his back, the sciatic. They didn't want to use him today unless they just absolutely had to. And then they weren't sure. 1st and 10, Washington. To about the 8. Graham, number 33, was there quickly for the Detroit Lions, along with Ken Fantetti, number 57, the middle linebacker.
He really is a competitor. Ken Fantetti gives you 100% every play, every day.
This guy started 56 straight ball games for the Lions and has been their leading tackler for the last 3 years. 5th-year man out of Wyoming. He's 2nd and goal from the 8.
You know, Joe Washington was coached by his dad in high school, Joe Sr. How'd you like to play football for your dad?
He's a little tough.
Oh, God, I wouldn't want to play for mine.
Giaquinto in motion across the backfield. Washington up the middle, slips a tackle, gets to the 5, maybe the 4. They'll mark it at the 5. Roosevelt Barnes, number 54, who was primarily a basketball player in college at Purdue, made the stop.
This is a quick trap inside. Watch the right guard as you see him right there. See him pull and trap? Look and work up in there. The guy over-penetrated, so he turned up. He didn't have to trap the man. That was Russ Grimm, number 68, from Southmoreland in Pennsylvania. Honor student, this guy was. An honor student.
3rd down. Goal to go from the 5. Pass or run? What do you think?
It's a pass.
It's a pass. It's a pass. Hunt trying to reach it in the end zone. Couldn't get high enough. Actually, the Lions could have picked up a 1st down if they got inside the 1-yard line.
See, they're up there. Al Latimer, number 43, up there playing him tight. Now he's just going to jump outside and try to run the fade. He's going to throw it up high, but it was a little too high and to the outside. Ball 4.
Well, they're booing, and I would think the wrath is directed at Mosley, who's on again. Who's had a tough afternoon. He's 0 for 2.
He had better not miss this one.
This is almost, the equivalent of an extra point. It'd be about 3 yards longer. Heisman will put it down at the 11, which will make it a 21-yard effort.
There it is.
No problem.
Couldn't be more true.
Crowd gives him a little Bronx cheer. 2:17 left to play in the 3rd. It's 31-10. Redskins. Rainy, windy, and cool here at RFK Stadium with the temperature 57. The rain coming down just about like this all day long. 45 yards, 10 plays set up by the pass interception by Murphy, culminated in the 22-yard field goal by Mosley.
Somehow that flag waving like that in the sky is a little more meaningful here in Washington, D.C. than it is any other place.
That's a good point. Hayes kickoff coming down to Alvin Hall, one of the top secretaries in pro football. 10, 15, 20, out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. There's Joe Jacoby, signed as a free agent. You wonder, this guy's turned into such a good tackle, and the Redskins tell you they think he's the best in the league right now. You wonder why he wasn't drafted.
Well, they think he will be one of the best in the league. He still has to improve his pass protection, but he's a really determined, hard-working guy, takes coaching, doesn't mind being chewed on, and their coach, Joe Bugle, really chews on these guys.
San Antonio Spurs, Houston Rockets, the debut of Ralph Sampson. You'll see it on CBS at 3:45 Eastern Time next Saturday. Mark it down. It'll be a historic moment in pro basketball. 1st and 10. Lions at their 28. We get a flag thrown. I thought I heard a whistle. Maybe I didn't. It's Jones up the middle for yardage for the first down, but there was a flag thrown back at the line of scrimmage. My hearing going bad on me? Did I hear a whistle?
I heard a whistle.
Penalty will be against the Lions. And Jerry Markbright will mark off 5 yards and give us the
80 offense. First down.
So the illegal motion is against the Lions. Ulysses Norris, the tight end. Long afternoon for Monty Clark and the Lions as they try to get back in this game. 10 penalties now on the Lions for 69 yards. Danielson winds up trying to reach Mark Nichols. Mark's uniform is awful clean, but he hasn't had the ball thrown to him that much.
No, he hasn't. I don't think he's caught a pass.
You're absolutely right.
He's come on a lot stronger this year, too. He's been injured in the past, but he's, you know, their #1 pick from San Jose State a couple of years ago, and he was injured all the time. Now he's healthy, and he's caught more balls already than he caught in his career, coming into the game with 20 receptions.
They're talking about him being another Otis Taylor, which is indeed
one of the hogs getting sewed up there.
Bostic, the center, whose brother, of course, is a lineman for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Joe Bostic.
Second down, 15, Lions at their 22-yard line. Danielson, Manley got to him, but he got the football away, but all for naught. As James Jones winds up catching the ball for negative yardage. And Joe Gibbs has got to be happy about the way things have gone for the Redskins so far. Pressure by Manley.
Number 72 to the right of the screen. See, he's working on Chris Dietrich right there. He's powering him back, Now he breaks loose and goes and gets him. That's actually not too bad on a screenplay. You'd sort of like the quarterback to maybe take a little tap on the screen, meaning the rush got upfield. But Monty Coleman, the left linebacker playing there in place of Mel Coffin, really did a fine job on that.
You call that a tap that Manley put on him?
Yeah, that was a physical tap.
Third down, 20. Lions have been shoved back to their 19-yard line to meet just short of the 40. To pick up the first, Danielson to try to do it on in relief of Hippel. He's in trouble again. Manley is there, drops the ball. Who got it? Redskins have recovered. It appears at the 5.
When it goes bad, it all goes bad.
Gotta love the job the Redskins defense is doing this afternoon, coming off that performance against Green Bay the other night. Tony McGee, number 78, picked it up. It was Monty Clark on the sideline.
You can see he gets back there. It's just a strong 4-man rush. They run a stunt to the right of the screen. He's coming around to the outside. Now he's coming back up in there. He tries to step inside. The ball gets knocked out. Now it's just a fight for the football. There it goes. Tony's going to get it.
Again, Manley was the key, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's really giving Dietrich more than he can handle.
First and goal to go from the 5-yard line. Washington looking for that hole. Takes it to the 3, maybe the 2. And the Lions try to wrestle the football loose from Joe Washington, hanging on for dear life. Gary Cobb, number 53 on the stop. We're inside of 40 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Defense gets a well-earned rest.
Boy, they have done an outstanding job today. Those guys have just been super.
Second down. Goal to go from the 3. All I see in there is tight ends.
They have 3 of them in there.
Walmsley in motion. Reggie Evans, who scored a couple on the short yardage situation, fighting his way down to the 1-yard line before being shoved back.
Runs strong, doesn't he? Really goes ahead and powers up in there.
Al Latimer made the stop. Evans again as the third quarter comes to an end. Just a first-year man from Richmond. Here's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the Redskins 31, the Lions 10. We now pause for a word from your local station. Redskin weather, and the Redskins having a gay old time of it right now. 31-10, they lead it, and about to go in again. 3rd and 1 from the 1-yard line as we start the final period of play. Evans crashes into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the day. notice they tend to stay away from that side where English and Gay are.
Yeah, they do. Now it's just going to be Didier blocking out, fullback leading. You lost him right there. Now it's a power right up behind George Stark and Mark May into the end zone. Touchdown. Just a good old eye lead play. Lead meaning the fullback is leading the tailback through the point of attack.
37-10, Washington. Mosley with the extra point try. So the Redskins continue to dominate as they score on the first play of the final period. Well, the Redskins continue to come up with the big numbers. This is the 4th game in a row they've scored 30 points or more. That's the book on that last scoring drive.
They came into the league #1 team in scoring in the National Football League, not just the NFC, and they're surely going to leave this game the same.
This was set up by the fumble recovery. Danielson's fumble at the 5. Here's Alvin Hall at the 50, 20, 25. Hall fighting hard to get that yardage across the 35 and out to the 38-yard line. So they'll put it in play from there. Next week, keep in mind that we've got a doubleheader for you on CBS. The Cowboys undefeated at this point. The only unbeaten team left in the league against the Giants, who have a new quarterback, Jeff Rutledge. It'll be our featured first game. Others might see Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh and Detroit against Chicago. And our doubleheader game, Dick and I are going to be in the Orange Bowl to watch the Rams play the Dolphins. Now, if the Dolphins win this afternoon, and they're leading, and Buffalo loses, and they are losing, Miami moves into first place. At least a tie in the AFC East. We'll have a battle maybe of division leaders. First and 10. Danielson airing it out for Dexter Bussey. And Bussey involved in that collision at the 35, and we got penalty markers. Fans don't like it. Murphy was involved in that collision, and he wasn't the only one. Getting up very slowly is Curtis Jordan, number 22, the Redskin defensive back.
Pass interference, number 29, defense, first down.
Well, that's the first we've seen of Dexter Bussey so far this afternoon. He's the all-time leading rusher.
Throws this one down the hole. I didn't see the pass interference. Maybe we can see it here on the replay. There's just a strong collision for the ball here.
Looks like everything got there at the same time, huh?
It looks like that, and possibly the guy came over his back early.
It's a break for the Lions, who have a first down at the 34-yard line of the Washington Redskins. Sims bouncing outside to the 30. Good secure tackle by Vernon Dean at the 29-yard line.
Vernon Dean is an exceptionally fine tackler. He was a fine tackler at San Diego State.
Other scores, Atlanta finally on the scoreboard against the Jets. Took until the 4th quarter to get there. Minnesota leading Green Bay, but the Packers starting to come back in the 4th period of that game. Grogan has thrown a couple of touchdown passes for New England against Buffalo. That game also in the 4th period of play. And Cincinnati leading Cleveland 28-21. Kansas City and Houston, that's tight in the 4th period. The Oilers go for their first win. 2nd and 5 from the 30. Pressure on Danielson, completes the pass to Jones at the 25, down to the 20, to the 19-yard line. Goes the line running back, James Jones.
He moved in the backfield, and the fans are booing because they didn't call illegal motion. But I think he reset long enough. 1 second you have to be set. Therefore, they didn't throw the flag. James Jones.
With a win today, the Redskins go 6-2 on the year and move to within a game and a half of Dallas, which of course plays tonight. There's Dean, who's
paying the price for that great tackle. He has 36 tackles coming into this ball game, so he's hit a lot of people.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Jones diving across to the 17. Rich Malott, the linebacker, who Joe Gibbs told us was probably the best of his linebackers right now.
And the most consistent. But you know, that guy played strong safety, tailback, fullback, defensive end at Penn State before becoming an outside linebacker in pro football. He really is versatile.
From the Penn State linebacker factory of Joe Paterno.
I was talking to him yesterday. They really love Penn State.
2nd down, 8. Lions at the Redskins 17-yard line. Danielson, look out. McGee's after him. Gets the pass away, and Incomplete in the end zone for Leonard Thompson, number 39, the wide receiver who got his left hand on it, but couldn't pull it in. Carpenter back defending, number 41. I think Danielson is just about ready for a new jersey, wouldn't you say?
Right. Danielson thought they were going to run a safety blitz, and he was standing up there, and he actually pointed to the strong safety, alerting a running back that he might be coming, and then he didn't come. You can see that McGee beat him inside, beat the tackle inside, beat Stringer, number 71, and it forced him to go ahead and roll to the outside. Now he's looking for the pass downfield. That's what Theismann's so good at doing when you get in that scramble situation.
3rd and 8 from the 17. Again, pressure. This time from Mark Murphy, who came blitzing through. He read the blitz one play too late, apparently.
Yes. The Washington Redskins, they do a great job with their blitz package. They have in the past, and they're doing so right now. They faked one last down and then came one with them this down. That was an unusual play. You can see that he hands it there, fakes the handoff, and he was going to try to bootleg out there, but the safety blitz just stopped it from happening. He was in there before he could make it work.
Loss of 8 on the play, back to the 25. Murray will attempt a 42-yard field goal. Center of the field, very muddy portion of the field. It is long enough, but it is no good.
He slipped when he kicked that, too.
Shanked it off to the right. Timeout with 11 minutes, 51 seconds left to play in the game. Welcome back to RFK Stadium, where it's been all Redskins so far. They led at halftime, 28-3. They're out in front, 38-10. Washington, after the misfiring the field goal attempt by Murray, has a first down at its 25-yard line. Otis Wansley takes the handoff from Joe Theismann. Drives out to the 27 or 28-yard line, picking up short yardage on the play. Lions continue to play that offset defense with the tackle set over the center. Have the Redskins been able to take advantage of that?
Well, that defense, called the under defense, is Detroit's defense. They play that all the time, so that's not unusual in the game today. And the Redskins, of course, running like they have run successfully against the defense. But it may not be so much due to the defense. It may be more that just they're getting lipped on the line of scrimmage.
Could very well be. 2nd down and 6.
They bounced it up now and in an even defense.
Ball is at the 28-yard line of the Redskins. Wansley getting a good look-see from Joe Gibbs today over the right side. Wansley is a 3rd-year man from Alcorn State, another free agent signed back in 1981 and was originally a 9th-round draft pick of the New York Giants. That's the time remaining in the football game. And the Redskins content to let that clock move along. 3rd down coming up. They have short yardage needed for the first down, 2, maybe 3. And Chicago and Philadelphia are in the 4th period now. The Bears leading the Eagles by a margin of 1. Atlanta has scored twice now on the Jets, and they're closing in on them. And Kansas City and Houston.
Kansas City's getting closer to winning one.
Yeah, Houston
rather.
3rd down and 3. Redskins from their 32. Theismann completes the pass to Giaquinto at the 40 and out of bounds at the 46-yard line. So Nick Giaquinto, knocked out by Alvin Hall, continues to catch the ball exceedingly well.
You can see Giaquinto's coming in motion, and he's going to fake the little delay inside. See him fake inside right now? Now he's going to come back. You'll see him appear on your screen. Here he comes. There he is. He beat him to the outside, and earlier in the game he had beat him to the inside. Made it tough on that defensive back.
That's Giaquinto's 5th reception for 67 yards.
Started out trying to make it in this league with the New York Giants in 77, the Jets in 78, Miami in 79, Canada.
He's been everywhere. Yeah. 1st and 10 from the 45. Otis Wansley trying to push his blockers in front of him. Give me some running room. Gets it out to the 50-yard line. Ken Fantetti, number 57, the middle linebacker on the stop. There's another big chunk in that offensive line. Russ Grimm from Pittsburgh. He's turned out to be an excellent player.
You know, here he is, a big horse offensive lineman doing a fine job. National Honor Society student at Southmoreland High school quarterback and linebacker. He's done it all, and he's really providing fine leadership within that offensive line.
And he was a center in college, shifted him over to the guard position and done a great job.
Yeah.
2nd down, 5. Ball at midfield. Redskins want to run the clock down here. It's their ally, certainly. Wansley takes the handoff. That's maybe a yard. Nose of the ball will be just in Detroit's end of the field. And the clock continues to roll on. Lions will take on the Bears next week, and that'll be interesting. They just played last week, had that little finish, that altercation involving Eddie Murray, and a little bad blood between those two clubs right now.
I don't know if I'd want to kick off. I don't know if I think I'd come up with a hamstring problem.
3rd down and 5. The Redskins from the 49-yard line of Detroit. Giaquetto in motion. Joe Theismann. Sideline throw almost picked off. Beautiful anticipation by Bobby Watkins.
Very well done by Bobby Watkins. He drove that football, darn near picked it off. Here, now watch him. See him, he's to the left of the screen. The wide receiver's running the out pattern going toward the sideline. Look at him drive on that ball. Reaches out there. Darn near. Should have caught it, really.
Virgil C., number 80, was the intended receiver.
That was really good pass defense.
Hayes on to do the punting, and what a superb job he's done for the Redskins so far. .45-yard average.
That's amazing in these conditions.
Yeah, getting a very wet ball. And some good hang time. This one goes a bit end over end and bounces off the back of Mann, number 71, the defensive lineman.
Interfered with his right to catch the ball. That's a penalty.
And you saw the flag drop there.
Yeah. You can see who that was, though. That was that big defensive lineman, number 71.
You know, down through the years, from 1968 to 1980, the Redskins, George Allen was here most of that time, did not have a single #1 draft choice. Now they're trying to catch up. And as a result, they've had to sign a lot of free agents, and it's a tribute to their scouting department, the way some of these guys have come through.
Yeah, here comes Charles Mann, number 71. He doesn't see the ball coming down there. Look, and he's trying to stop. He's right there. Hits him in the back. I've never seen that before.
I've seen it hit guys in the head.
He's a rookie and going to be a good football player, of course. Made a nice play early in the game at defensive end on Chris Dietrich when he beat him on the pass rush.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. Number 71, kicking team. 1st down, timeout.
Charles Mann, just 22 years old and the youngest member of the Washington Redskins. Timeout in Washington. Well, the way things are going, the Redskins fans could get their first look at Bob Holly, their backup quarterback. He's about as invisible as a backup quarterback could be.
Oh, I know it. And watching him practice, like I said earlier in the game, he never took a snap of the first-string offense the whole day.
1st and 10 for the Lions after the penalty assessed for the fair catch interference, and they go with an exotic. The reverse handoff to Leonard Thompson. 30, 35, 40, up to the 45, and Thompson takes it to the 45 of Washington.
Remember, Leonard Thompson was a running back, and he can really move. He had 2 runs coming into this ball game, but only made 7 yards. Now watch, they toss the ball, start it going. James Jones has it, number 30, hands it off, coming back to the strong side. Now he's out there running. Look at the lineman out there ready to protect. Steve Mott, number 52. Here comes a quarterback. Let's see if 16 Danielson, he hit him, Danielson. Go ahead, get a block. That-a-way. Look, quarterbacks are tough.
Not bad at all. 25 yards on the pickup and a 1st down at the 45-yard line of the Washington Redskins. Danielson. A little bit short of the intended target, James Jones, and got a pretty good rush that time. And really had to dump it rather quickly. Neil Olkowitz put the pressure on, blitzing. Atlanta has come back to tie the Jets in the 4th quarter. I think they're still booing in New York.
They must be. But there's 2 explosive offensive teams. The Atlanta has the ability, as we've seen earlier in the year, to score from a long ways out with Bartkowski throwing to Jenkins and those other people. Of course, Jenkins is injured right now, isn't he? He's out with a shoulder separation.
I think he is, yeah. No, it's Jackson that's injured. Jenkins is in.
Okay.
You get those guys mixed up. Both named Alfred. 2nd down, 10. Lions at the 45 of the Redskins. Danielson, who started the second half replacing Hipple, who was ineffective in the first half, a play running for his life, lobbing it downfield for Norris. Ulysses Norris, the tight end, is inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. Boy, that's a real rainbow that Danielson put up that there. He just let him run underneath it. Murphy saved the touchdown with the tackle.
You're going to see here, watch the left tackle, number 65, Butts, come around there. Seeing the offensive lineman didn't pick up that stunt. He almost sacked the quarterback. Almost sacked the quarterback. Now it allowed him to scramble to the outside. He lays it up here. Here it goes. Coming down. Looks like a fair catch. Signal should be given here. Ulysses Norris had beaten it. Some of the linemen or secondary people looked like they might have thought he was going to go ahead and run.
41 yards on the pass play. They'll mark it at the 5. James Jones takes the handoff. Jones down to the 2, fighting his way inside the 2-yard line before being stacked up by the Redskins.
James Jones knows how it is to fight. He's been fighting all his life. He's one of 10 children. One of 10 children. He's really excited about being in pro football and making money because he really thinks he can help his family.
You've got to fight just at the dinner table to get your share with that money around.
Can you imagine reaching out there with 10 other people at the same time?
Great day for Joe Theismann. Skibbs told us yesterday, he said in that, remember that game, that Notre Dame USC game, he said he threw for 500 yards of total offense on a very wet day in the Coliseum.
The big thing about Joe Theismann now, then, in contrast to the past, that the bad things in the game that happen don't bother him anymore. He goes ahead and makes positive things happen afterward.
Second down. Goal to go. Danielson. Look out, the rush. That was strictly a race coming from the outside. Trying to get to him was Rich Malott, number 57, the linebacker. And he just about got there in time, enough to just distract him a little, I think.
Boy, it's a good thing he got rid of that ball because Malott was really coming. He said, oh, he had him in his sights. It's a little play-action pass, and the quarterback's rolling. Look at him coming here, right to the right of the screen. Evidently, someone blew the protection and didn't pick him up on the backside there. Boy, that was close. Good thing he was rolling out, not sitting there.
It is third down. And goal to go from the 2-yard line. Danielson on the bootleg. That's the first two-handed pass I've seen. Ulysses Norris for the touchdown, and he actually threw the pass with 2 hands, like a basketball chest pass.
A little shuffle pass. I've never seen that play. That was really well executed.
Of course, he could have run it in, probably.
I'd like to see that in slow motion. That was exciting.
Maybe Danielson's auditioning for the NBA with that chest pass. I don't know.
Here it is from the side. Now he makes a play-action fake right here. Then he fakes the reverse. See that? And then he bootlegs. Malott almost had him. Now he just shuffles that thing out there. Look at that. Just a little push pass.
Hipple to hold, and Murray with the extra point attempt. And the Lions have a touchdown, but not nearly enough. They trail 38-17. Redskins lead the Lions 38-17. We've got 5 minutes and 44 seconds left to play, and many in the usual capacity crowd of 55,000 plus here at rain-soaked RFK Stadium have headed for the exits in drier spots. Rain continues to pelt down here as Eddie Murray is ready to kick it off. Big play in that drive. You see the rain coming down, and it hasn't let up at all. It's been like this all day, all morning, on through the night. This is the remnants of the hurricane problem that hit Texas and Oklahoma earlier in the week, caused all that terrible flooding down there.
I'm still surprised that the Hogs down there haven't gotten down there and sort of wallered and rolled that stuff. You know?
They love it.
Yeah, I know it, but they aren't really showing us that.
Coming down on the far sideline to Joe Washington. He's doing everything today. Returning kicks now is the latest forte, up to the 30, and is really belted at the 33. I think they got their money's worth out of Joe today.
Yes, really. I'm surprised he's back there with the score 37-18 like that.
Sunday night lineup on CBS, 60 Minutes. Of course, a brand new episode there for you, followed by Alice. One day at a time, the Jeffersons, Goodnight, Beantown, and Trapper John, MD. And then at 11 o'clock, Eastern Time tonight, a CBS News special on the tragedy in Lebanon today involving the U.S. Marines with Dan Rather. So be sure and join us tonight here on CBS. Joe Theismann still in there. We saw Bob Holly warming up a little earlier. Holly, who has not seen action this year, as far as our knowledge is concerned, didn't see action last year either in regular season. And Theismann just going to run the clock down as best he can here and put the Lions out of their misery.
Maybe Holly doesn't know the offense.
Could be. If you don't get to take a snap in practice, I mean, you got to have some problems, don't you?
He runs the scout team. I mean, he runs the offense against the defense preparing for the game, but he never runs the Redskin offense preparing for the game.
Smart kid, as you would expect from Princeton, just a second-year man. And, you know, showed up well enough last year in preseason that they traded Flick, who was their backup. 2nd down 8. Redskins at their 36-yard line. Walmsley breaking a few tackles, and will be close for the first down if he doesn't have it out at the 44-yard line.
I bet you they've run that play 10 to 12 times and probably is averaging 8 to 9 yards a carry. They've really had a lot of luck running that same little jab play, back, pull the lineman, come around to the outside. They've done an awfully good job, and the tight end, Don Warren, has done a fine job of blocking.
There's Joe shaking a little mud out of his helmet. Boy, New England is putting it on Buffalo, and again, coupled with a Miami victory today, and the Dolphins are leading. That will mean that Miami moves into a first-place tie with Buffalo in the AFC East, and we'll be looking at the Dolphins next Sunday. And Dan Marino, their sensational rookie quarterback, in the Orange Bowl against the Los Angeles Rams. Two of the big rookies this year, Marino, of course, and Eric Dickerson of the Rams. 1st and 10. Reggie Evans, who has scored 3 touchdowns in short yardage plunges, takes it to the 49. Now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
And Frank, don't anybody go away. We got contact in Shea Stadium. The Jets were ahead 21-7. The Atlanta Falcons jumped back. Steve Bartkowski hit White Shoes Johnson with a touchdown pass. Then White Shoes on a punt return got it back. On the post-game show, we'll keep you up to date with everything. Right now, let's go back to Frank Glieber.
Thank you very much, Brent. That is an exciting football game in New York. And you wonder about Billy White Shoes. I guess he can just go on forever. One of the Lions was shaken up. That's Al Latimer, the right corner, being attended to. Timeout on the field with 3 minutes and 51 seconds left to play in the game. Al Latimer is still being tended to by the Eagles medics. She was shaken up on that last play. We've got final score here in Cincinnati as the Bengals, for whom it's been a long year, have rallied to beat the Cleveland Browns 28-21. Here in Washington, our score 38-17.
Boy, he looks like he's hurt.
He certainly does. Washington, big edge statistically in this game. He's one of your old guys.
Yes, he's very, very tough kid. So if he's staying down like that, he's been banged up. He's injured.
One thing he showed it. He was the guy that ran down Garrett in the first half.
Well, no, he can run. He was a track man. He's good speed, very tough, fine tackler, and a fine young man. I just feel a little nervous right now. I hope he's not hurt seriously.
Well, they're working on the upper part of his body at the present time, so see if he can get up. Al Latimer being lifted very gingerly from the very soggy turf.
Looks like it's a left leg.
That's some bad news for you, Mr. Vermeil. Assuming you still have some sentiment left back in your hometown.
You bet I do. Huh? I have more than sentiment. They got beat.
Chicago Bears have beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. Final score 7-6. Eagles got some offensive problems, looks like.
Well, they're not scoring points. When you take that, the overdrive out of your offense in Wilbert Montgomery, they just haven't been able to motor anything after that. Gosh darn it.
Well, after they were beaten so badly against Dallas last week, I know you thought they'd come back strong.
I really thought they did. Evidently, they played fine defense.
As we head back to play, Redskins have the ball. They have a 2nd down 5. The ball is at the 50-yard line. We've got just over 3.5 minutes to go, and the clock obviously moving. Rick Walker, the tight end, is in motion. Reggie Evans dropped for a loss of about 5 yards in the play. bit of rough treatment there by Gary Cobb, number 53, and William Gay, who was in on the stop.
I don't know if this is really anything beyond just the physical part of the game. He's down right there. They've got to come in. You've got to be careful using your helmet like that. That's the big thing. Right there, that's uncalled for. Grabbing the leg and pulling it up, that's hot dog stuff. It really shouldn't be allowed.
3rd down and 8. It is getting a little wallowy over on the Redskins sideline now.
You can hear him oinking here pretty quick.
There's a lot of squishing going on. I don't know about oinking. Theismann rolling to his right. Got all kinds of time. Finally decides to run it. I'll get the first down myself. And slides to a halt at the 45-yard line of the Detroit Lions. Rich Malott getting some help on the sidelines.
That helmet's wearing a hair off top of his head.
That must be something if it's not the helmet. Going to run it down to the 2-minute warning, looks like right now, unless the officials stop the clock. Well, they have. This game going on to overtime. You see that? Kansas City, Houston have now headed in the overtime period down at the Dome.
Well, they've been into one other one. We know that.
That's right. First
Houston
game of the year.
Bay. Yeah.
I think we started Houston on their way.
Yeah.
It's been all downhill since then.
They only need a few more players, and they're going to be a good football team.
Measurement over on the far sideline, which is the reason they stopped the clock, indicates the Redskins picked up the first down.
Here comes Holly.
Here comes Bob Holly into quarterback the Washington Redskins. First time in his career. He's been there 2 years, and this is the first snap that he will have taken in the regular season. And the entire club, I think, congratulating him. You can tell him by his clean white jersey. We're down to the 2-minute warning. There's the whistle. We'll be back in Washington in just a moment. Joe Theismann accepts congratulations. Well, the applause here at the 2-minute warning is for the Hogs who are coming out. The regulars and the offensive line. And Bob Holly, who just was sent into quarterback, says, now, wait a minute. I wanted to play, but how about giving me a couple of the regulars?
Well, he's used to working with those guys in the practice field anyway, so he'll be fine.
He has never thrown a pass in regular season play, and this is his second season as the backup to Joe Theismann. And, of course, chances are he won't throw a pass here. I imagine Joe Gibbs has told him just go ahead and run out the clock. Princeton man. Don't find too many of those in the NFL.
No, this guy's graduate of Princeton, accepted in Fordham Law School already. Starting pitcher on their baseball team. You know, he threw for 2,622 yards in the Ivy League, 16 touchdowns, 61% complete, only threw 11 interceptions.
Lions have used a timeout, so they have 2 left. Fourth period score, the Patriots rolling over Buffalo by a score of 31-0. Joe Ferguson has had a great year so far for Buffalo, but it's not happening for Joe today. And keep in mind, next week we'll have the Rams and the Dolphins, and Buffalo with a loss today, coupled with a Miami win, that would put Miami tied with Buffalo for first place in the AFC East. And if the Rams beat the 49ers later today, they'll be in first place in the AFC West. Quite an interconference showdown at the Orange Bowl next week.
I'm really excited about getting to see it.
That's going to be some game. We're looking forward to it. Holly with the handoff to Evans. I believe they were waiting for it.
I think so.
Mike Dawson, number 73 on the stop. There's a man who is enjoying the fruits of a day of work, Joe Theismann. And we hope to visit with Joe on our NFL wrap-up show right after the game, so be sure and stay tuned for that. That's not a bad afternoon, is it?
No, it's a pretty good day's work.
A typical day for him, right?
Yes, and especially against the Eagles when I was coaching there. I mean, he always had great days. He is the key to that whole offensive football team.
Remember when he was a rookie, when Theismann was a rookie, he wanted to play so bad, and they had Kilmer and they had Jurgensen, and he volunteered to return punts?
And he did return punts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can see he has that kind of running ability and mobility. Yeah?
And a great competitor. There's a timeout situation. Matters little to the Lions at this point as Bob Holly heads back into the huddle. They have 1 timeout left. The Redskins looking at a 3rd down and 16 from their 49-yard line. Our thanks to Joe Bano for his spotting help. Doesn't take a snap in practice. I'd say he looked until he snapped the ball like he knew what he was doing. After that, he was in trouble.
There was a mistake that one. May not have been his fault. It may have been a running back fault. No, he's turning. He's looking at Reggie Evans and saying, "Reggie, where are you going?"
Roosevelt Barnes making the stop. There's Evans. Now, that's getting maximum production out of your yardage, wouldn't you say? 3 touchdowns and 9 rushes and 3 carries.
Well, he came in with 2 carries for 6 yards for a 3-yard average, so he's really added to it.
It's not bad on a touchdown per yardage ratio or whatever. 4th down. Hayes in to do the punting. We're down to 1:44. Hayes has had a great afternoon kicking a very wet football, averaging 43 yards a punt. As is his opposite, Mike Black. They both have punted the ball well. Fake. Hayes outside of the 40 to the 35. He's got the first down at the 33-yard line.
He dropped the ball.
You don't think he tried to do that?
No, he dropped it. No, he dropped it. He ran for his life. You can see now, watch him. He goes to field the ball and he drops it. There it goes. He picks it up. Now he sees all that room. He says, heck with punting, I'm going to run.
A lot of guys have punted it on the run.
Yes.
Which you can do even beyond the line of scrimmage.
I had one punter do that one time. He threw a pass doing that situation.
Rick Kane. Did they drop a hanky?
No, they didn't.
They did, huh?
They didn't.
15-yard pickup on the play. Atlanta has come back and leads the Jets now in the 4th quarter. What a comeback that is. Down 2-3 touchdowns most of the day. Here's Reggie Evans. All the Redskins have to do now is hang on to the football and they can run out the clock. He carries it to the 32-yard line. Minnesota and Green Bay are in overtime, so that is the second NFL game this afternoon that's gone to the extra period. Kansas City and Houston, the other game, in overtime right now.
It seems like, I don't know what the percentage is, but there are far more overtime games this year than in the past.
Been a bunch of them. Clock ticking away, the final 1 minute here at RFK Stadium. In case you joined us late, the Redskins jumped out early.
They just brought out the head hog. Number 74, George Stark. He's really the guy that's the head man in that offensive line. Most experienced.
Flag goes down as Holly goes down in one knee. You know, if you've got timeouts left and you're trailing 38-17 with less than a minute to go, I've often wondered why some coaches decide to use the timeouts.
I have been in a situation one time where I didn't. I mean, there was why do
illegal
it? You know?
formation. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Offense.
I mean, why do it? Why bother? Right? You just.
Well, it's just a matter of principle. That you're always thinking you're trying to find a way to win.
Well, they could, score a touchdown and then go for the 15-point play, I guess.
Yeah.
New England has beaten Buffalo 31-0. That is a final score. And coming up next, we'll have all the scores. We'll have highlights. We'll have Brent, Nerve, and Jimmy from the New York studio. And we hope to be visiting with Joe Theismann and Mark Murphy coming up on the NFL Today wrap-up show.
I'll bet you these Lions bounce back real strong next week and play one heck of a football game. They just came in today and ran into a buzzsaw. Everything went wrong initially, field position and good execution by the offense, and they were out of the game.
2nd down, 14. I don't know if Holly is getting what you consider worthwhile NFL experience at this point, but he's at least getting to take a few snaps in regulation.
The trouble is he's losing yards for the rushing stats.
I don't think they have to run another one here, do they?
It's over.
Joe Gibbs, victorious for the 6th time this year against 2 losses. He moves now a game and a half behind the NFC East leading Dallas Cowboys, who take on the Raiders.
He has to be very pleased because, they just got beat Monday night. And, the old cliche was, how will they play coming off a Monday night game and traveling and all that kind of stuff? He proved that you'd come back and play well. There is one heck of a football coach.
Done a terrific job. Former assistant with the San Diego Chargers, who has done a terrific job. And, of course, back to the drawing board for Monty Clark. They lost 4 in a row. They won 2 in a row.
They'll come back and win some more. I've made that same walk, Monty, 6 times.
Again, keep in mind the NFL Today wrap-up show coming up. That'll be right after We go off the air here at RFK Stadium. We've got scores, we've got highlights, we've got interviews, we've got all kinds of goodies. And our thanks to the people who helped us put the broadcast together today, working under rather adverse weather conditions in the rain here at RFK Stadium. For Dick Vermeil, this is Frank Glieber saying stay tuned for the NFL Today wrap-up show.
Welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross and Jimmy the Greek. We've got a little bit of everything going on. 2 games in the National Football League right now are in overtime. Kansas City in Houston and Minnesota in Green Bay. To the scoreboard, to get those of you who just joined us, you had watched the Washington-Detroit game right up to date. Many of you watched this game. The Bears hang on. They beat the Eagles by a single point, 7-6, in the nasty weather over there in Philadelphia. So a big win for Mike Ditka and the Bears. And Irv, give us an update on the highlights.
Boy, it's a sloppy day, as you indicated, Brent, but Vince Evans finds a young wide receiver, number 85, Dennis McKinnon, inside for a 20-yard touchdown. Catch and run. Pretty tough run there, because Mike Dick is trying to get toughness distilled back in the Chicago Bears as we knew the Bears years ago. Ron Jaworski, feeling the heat of that Bear pressure, goes down here when Al Harris sacks him. A couple plays later, 99, Dan Hampton gets there, and guess what? Number 73, Mike Hartenstein, said, let me get some of them too. Tough Bear defense all day long, 7-6 Chicago.
We have a final in the Battle of Ohio. Cincinnati has come through, and they won this game with an intercepted pass. Cincinnati 28, Cleveland 21 is the final score. It was Ken Riley. Brian Sipe threw his 17th interception of the season. Jimmy the Greek has reported that the New Jersey Generals are vitally interested in Sipe of the Browns. They may get him for a lower price than they expected if he doesn't cut down those interceptions. Minnesota and Green Bay. Here is one of the 2 games that is in overtime. The Packers tied it in dramatic fashion with 2 seconds to go. Lynn Dickey threw to a running back. The Packers won the coin flip. They are trying to move the ball, but the Minnesota defense has been holding, and the Packers have not been able to move down to within scoring distance. They have just gotten underway in the overtime in that tough NFC Central game. As for the New England Patriots today, well, they really threw quite a game at the Buffalo Bills. The hottest quarterback in the league, Joe Ferguson, was shut out today. 31-0. Tony Collins scored a 50-yard touchdown. Irv, tell us what happened in that game.
A lot to cheer about in New England today, Brent. Of course, Steve Grogan, number 14, drops back and hits number 88, Derek Ramsey, for an opening touchdown in the first quarter. Then Joe Danello, well, Grogan again. Here he is hitting Derek Ramsey for the touchdown. A few plays later, New England still under control, handing the ball off to Tony Collins, who I say looks like O.J. Simpson a little bit from the back. He's got those bow legs and tremendous drive. Goes 50 yards for a touchdown and has been New England all day today. 31-0.
31-0 is the final score there. Atlanta has just got the ball back against the Jets. They lead in this game 24-21. About 2 minutes to go. Irv?
Joe Walton has a lot to smile about today, Brent, but here's the most unusual play of the day. Harper slipped. The defense relaxed, thinking he was down, but he got up and scampered 78 yards for a touchdown run. Richard Todd, a few plays later, hands off to Scott Derking, who goes 4 yards off his left guard for another touchdown, and Joe Walton has to be pleased with what he's seen. Todd, but watch this. When Atlanta wants to get back, Billy White Shoes Johnson, one of the most dangerous punt return men in the league, scampers 71 yards to get his team back. At this point, Atlanta trails 21-7. And that punt return put them back in the hunt. Walton, again, waiting for good things to happen with his offense. Has seen it, but they trail 24-21 late in the fourth quarter.
All right, and the other overtime game has just ended. Nick Lowry has just kicked a 41-yard field goal, and the Chiefs beat the Oilers in overtime 13-10. Here just moments ago was the winning field goal by Lowry, and so the Houston Oilers now have not been able to win a game. They sink to 0-8. And the other winless team is off to a good start, as you'll see momentarily. Miami and Baltimore and the Dolphins have found a quarterback. Danny Marino zips 2 more touchdown passes for the Dolphins. They lead the Colts in the fourth quarter 21-0 in that game. Washington, many of you know this story, playing without John Riggins, without Mike Nelms, without Charlie Brown. They simply dominated Detroit all game long, 38-17. You've got to echo what Dick Vermeil says. Joe Gibbs has done one whale of a coaching job with this team down in Washington. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they lead the Saints by 7, and the last time I looked, they were going in again. I think they're up at least 13-0 now, waiting to kick the extra point. We will double-check that. I think I saw another Buccaneer going into the end zone. San Diego and Denver.
They are underway. Out in Mile High City, Steve DeBerg, of course, trying to rally this football team with John Elway on the bench, and they are scoreless there in the first quarter of that game. Pittsburgh and Seattle, we've had contact there. The Steelers, playing with a heavy heart because of that tragic automobile accident suffered by Gabe Rivera, lead the Seahawks 7-0. They are in the first quarter. San Francisco and the Rams are underway in Anaheim. They are scoreless in the first quarter. You'd like an update on Minnesota and Green Bay. The Vikings got the ball. There we are. Tampa Bay has put in a second touchdown, kicked the extra point. They lead the Saints 14-0. Let me update quickly Minnesota and Green Bay. The Vikings got the ball on a punt. It's their turn in overtime. And the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment. Let's take you back up to Green Bay. Benny Ricardo on third down, trotting onto the field for the Vikings. The field goal is up. It is good. A 32-yarder. And now Minnesota in overtime has beaten the Green Bay Packers 20-17. And so with a record of 6-2, the Vikes lead the Packers by 2 games. Now the man who was burned by these Packers last Monday night, Joe Theismann, what a season he's having. He's standing by with Frank Glieber, so let's go live to Frank. Frank?
Thank you very much, Brent. Of course, after the Redskins won it, we tried to find someone who was a conversationalist, but we couldn't, so we wound up with Joe Theismann in the Redskins locker room. Joe, great day in the rain.
Thanks, Frank. I really appreciate the comment, too.
You must be a mutter. People keep saying that you play so well in wet weather, and you've done it in college, and you continue to do it in the pros.
Well, I can't explain it. I would much rather prefer to play in the shopping centers that they've built around here, they call dome stadiums, or on dry turf, to be honest with you. But it seems like everything seems to slow down to a pace for me when we're in wet weather. It slows down the defensive line a little bit. Fortunately for me, guys like Joe Washington, Nick Giaquino, Virgil, Alvin, and Art, they all have the ability to work in the rain very well, and it helps me out tremendously. I just try and put the ball in general areas. Sometimes it's not very pretty, but it winds up there, and the guys made some great catches today, which always helps.
Joe, were you picking on that under defense a little bit there today?
Dick, not necessarily the under. We tried to go to the bubble a little bit, but what we do with Joe Washington is we let him pretty much option run. What the guys up front try and do, they're so big, is they try and screen the defensive linemen. The backs get on the backers, and then we let little Joe take the holes, and he does so many things so well. It's amazing. I mean, being able to throw the ball in this type of weather is one thing, but to be able to cut and maneuver like Joe Washington can, I have the best seat in the house when it comes to that. So I get a chance to hand off and watch him work, and the man's absolutely incredible.
Well, I think your defense probably had something to prove after last Monday night at Green Bay. You want to introduce your partner in crime down there?
You bet. I got Mark Murphy here with me, and Murph, they're asking me to ask you this question.
Okay.
Where were you last week, and welcome back? First of all, you got yourself a great interception today. And no, don't. I'm going to blame you guys, not me. And secondly, what was the difference in the defense today?
Well, I think last week we were all obviously very embarrassed, giving up 48 points. But I think what we did, we had a meeting last night just with the players, and we said, listen, we got a great offense, we got a great team, and we tried to get a little confidence back in ourselves. We played last week, we played a great team that was hot. And the thing that I think we'd gotten into, we were a little cautious. And we said, in this game, listen, we're going to make some mistakes. Let's be aggressive and make things happen. And I think it really worked for us today.
Thanks, Murph. We appreciate it. Frank, back to you in the booth.
Joe, I think you got a future up here when you're through playing. But
take my job. You darn near took it
maybe
anyway.
So. Now let's go back to Brent Musburger in New York.
Frank, you have all our jobs, Candy. We'll continue with a final look at the scores on the NFL Today in just a moment. Well, a quick final look at the scores now. The Chicago Bears win for the third time against 5 defeats. The Eagles sink to 4-4, 7-6. The Bears a winner there. Cincinnati goes to 2-6 with a 28-21 victory over the 4-4 Cleveland Browns. And the Minnesota Vikings in overtime move to now 6-2 as they down Green Bay by a score of 20-17. That was Minnesota over Green Bay in overtime. I'll read the rest of them. New England 31, Buffalo zip. That is a final there. Atlanta leading the Jets 27-21 with time running out in Shea Stadium. Kansas City in overtime. They're a winner over Houston. 13-10 was the final. Houston now has lost 15 straight games. Miami leading Baltimore 21-0. They are in the fourth quarter of that game. Washington over Detroit 38-17 is the final there. Tampa Bay right now with a 2-touchdown lead on New Orleans. San Diego and Denver remain scoreless there. Pittsburgh over Seattle right now by 7 points out on the West Coast. San Francisco and Los Angeles are scoreless. Don't forget next Saturday, high noon, Michigan and Illinois shoot it out for first place in the Big Ten. We'll see you then with the NCAA Today. So long, everybody.